is big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California. The first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hanson and I'm joined by the Aussie, Dave Tuckman. Nice hat there you got, Dave. Actually, We're sporting a couple of things that we got from our producer for Christmas. I got a nice bitter beer shirt on.
Did you get a six-pack of the beer as well? Or just the drink?
No, just a shirt.
Just a shirt, okay.
Shirt was good enough, though.
I got you.
Tonight's Thursday. We're going to be doing 5-10, no limit hold'em. It's an unrestricted buy-in game, which means you can buy in for any amount, David. And tonight is actually going to be our last show for the Christmas break. We're actually going to be dark tomorrow, and then dark next week. Now, tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a best of with some of the most famous players we've had on the show. And then next week, we're going to be rerunning some of our television shows.
Right.
So without further ado, let's get to the action.
Let's do that.
And let's go around and introduce the table.
Well, in seat one, we've got Mo. There he is, Action Mo. And he's sporting a lot of chips there. He's probably got close to, I want to say close to $3,000 there. Seat two, we've got Garland Chan. Garland's a really, really nice guy. I played with him the other night. We played Tuesday night, 3-500 game. And hopefully he's watched the show and will step it up the aggressiveness a little bit. Because I thought he was a little too passive to be really successful in this game on Tuesday. Seat three, we've got George there, Greek poker god, and sporting the Irish shirt. Seat four, we've got Dion, and Dion is actually out of New York. Played with him as well the other night. Pretty cagey player. He kind of looks like a guy who wouldn't make a move, but he will make the semi-bluff. Let's see how he plays tonight. Seat five, we've got, it's empty right now, but it's obviously locked up, and we'll get somebody in there right away.
Right.
Seat six, we've got Brian Lee. And Brian Lee, a good player, can really mix it up. He can bluff. He's pretty tight sometimes. But he is prone to tilt, so let's see what he does tonight.
Really?
Yeah, seat seven, we've got Barry, Don't Call Me Greenstein Woods. And Barry finally did get in the show last night, the 5,100 game. And unfortunately, for him, lost with Pocket Queens to Bruce Parker. Lost about a $30,000 pot, and then went home. Seat eight, we've got, well, not there, but I think it's actually Philly Al is going to be joining the game.
Yep.
And everybody knows Philly Al there, professional baseball player, former. And seat nine, we've got Josh Woods. Josh Woods is out of Chicago area and is actually Barry Woods' nephew.
Wow.
But has told me that he wants nothing better than to take Barry's money.
Really?
Yes.
Very, very interesting stuff.
So it should be a fun show for our last one for 2005.
Yeah, I can't wait here. I mean, we've got 3 more hours until Christmas. I'm heading back to Boston. Dave, you're heading to New York. Get into the first hand here of the night. Wow, look at this. I think Mo bet here with deuce 5, and I think that Barry's called with pocket threes.
Go get him, Barry.
Wow. Well, obviously, we jumped right into that. Mo was on spades. Yeah. And Barry called him all the way with pocket threes.
Now, it was interesting. Obviously, I was very interested in last night's show. After I played the free roll tournament, where first place got $40 and my bounty was $200. Whoever knocked me out. Congratulations to, I think, Hemp22, who I'm not sure if he won the tournament, but he knocked me out and got a $200 bounty for knocking me out on the Bike.com's play free site. But I was also interested in the Live at the Bike show last night with Phil Locke and Bobby Belande. What a show, huh?
Right. Button's going to move over here to seat 9. That's Mo. Now, if you want to follow a live thread, start on the internet, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on forums. World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments, the official Live at the Bike thread for December 22nd. Now, Mo is going to raise here to 150 from the button with deuce 6 offsuit. I think he is re-raising seat 9 here. I believe, well, actually, you know what? I guess it's an, let's see here. Well, everyone's going to fold anyways. Yeah, I think he did make the re-raise, and he shows the bluff there. Dave, you know, the forums, 2+2 again, like I said, but we actually got a ton of hits and replies, and I have to send a shout out to Full Contact Poker. They almost had twice as many replies and views as 2+2, and it was a little bit difficult for Shirley and I to find the thread on that site last night, but we finally found it, and it's here. So maybe I can put in a little shout out and maybe monitor that briefly as well if someone starts a thread over there for tonight. But last night's show was quite a spectacle.
Yeah, obviously getting the Unabomber there was very interesting. Yeah. Getting Mr. Jennifer Tilly.
Yep.
All right, we going back and
I actually spoke to Mr. Jennifer Tilly after the show. Really nice guy. Spoke for about 15, 20 minutes about the game, about the show.
Now, Barry Woods has made a raise here. He's got ace-queen offsuit. And look at that. Seat 6 calls with 5-9 of hearts. And he's open-ended here, Dave. Deuce 3-5. He's got backdoor hearts. Barry's going to make a continuation bet. He's going to bet 150. Let's see what Brian's going to do here.
Now, Brian's one of those players, he'll get in there, he'll call raises with some inferior hands, trying to hit a big, get a big hand here, and he will make moves. And it looks like he's going to make a move here.
There you go, check raise.
No, he just called.
Oh, he just made the call. It looked like. And look at this. Barry is going to spike a queen here on the turn.
Yeah, and Brian's.
And now Brian's going to lead.
Yep.
700.
He's going to bet 700. Maybe he's hoping that Barry had ace-king here. But Barry hit his kicker right here on the turn, and he's hit a pair.
And he's going to raise the minimum. He makes up to 1,400.
1,400.
Yep, there it is, 1,400.
And Brian can't call this, can he?
Well,
hey, now, come on.
Big hand right off the bat here.
I mean, he's only got 8 outs. 8 outs with 1 card to go.
Pot's about 2,500, 700 to call. And he's going to make the call. We get a $3,200 pot.
Yeah.
Brian's on a draw. And the river's an 8. That's no help.
How about a little value bet here?
Well,
by Barry here. I mean, obviously Brian can't call, but what is Brian going to do?
Believe me, I've had the absolute nightmare of backdoor flushes this month. Barry's going to check behind him here, Dave. He checks right behind him, and I don't mind the check behind there, Dave. I really don't. Like I said, the more and more I watch here, the more and more sometimes one pair hands might not necessarily be good enough to bet there on the river with a super connected board. Because, well, I guess it depends on how much Brian had left. Like, if Brian might have had maybe only 800 left, and the pot's 2,600, well, I guess you can move 800 there on the river.
Right.
But if he's got a lot in his stack, do you want to open yourself up to a check raise there on the river?
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, by raising the turn there, he actually gets the free showdown.
Right.
And if Brian actually had, say, I'm trying to think of a hand he might have had. Let's say he had king-queen or whatever. I'm not sure why he's in there on the turn, on the flop, but let's say he's in there with king-queen, you get a free showdown.
Right.
And if he actually has 2 pair, like queen-deuce, you still get the free showdown probably.
2 players.
We got a raise here, $25 by Mo. Ace, queen, queen here. He's hit the ace, and Brian's calls with 7-5 of spades. And Mo looks like he's going to bet 125 here on the
And this
flop.
is the Brian I was talking about. He is prone to going on tilt, and it looks like that's the kind of Brian we're going to get tonight. Where
well, is he going to make a move here, Dave? Because he's smooth called.
Yeah.
And he picks up a spade draw, so maybe this is what he was counting on.
Yeah, like I said, he will make a move.
He checks.
But the people at the table know he'll make a move, too.
Bet 25.
And Mo's only betting little small amounts. He only was betting 25, and Brian's just going to call. There's a $25 bet in the flop, a $25 bet in the turn. And look at this. Brian makes a backdoor spades. And now he's going to bet.
225.
He bets 225. Mo was just putting small bets in there the whole time.
I wish he knew that.
Check fine.
And Mo was saying, I was wishing...
He opened my game. I told him I'm going to buy the drink all the
And
night.
Mo folds.
Then I'm
Hey,
not
look
gonna
at that.
pay for
I mean, no implied odds there whatsoever. I'm just not sure why you take one off against Mo. You know what I mean?
Well,
If you're doing it against an inferior player...
what happens if the jack of spades there came on the river? Well, actually, I guess that wouldn't have mattered, but the ace... And the ace would have been obvious there, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying you got to pick your player you're playing against.
The jack would not have filled that.
Not to point out Barry, but obviously Barry has more trouble getting away from big hands than,
Right.
say, Mo does. Maybe I want to try to pick up some sort of, long shot against Barry because he'll pay me off.
Right. Well, if you want to email us, you can email us at liveatthemic.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. We got a raise here. It looks like by Mo. Again here, he's got pocket tens this time. He made it 25 to go. That's only 2.5 times the blind. He's playing 5-10 here.
Mo can play pretty aggressive at this table. Look at this 2 pair for Brian.
And he's going to bet right in here.
But nobody has an ace, so I don't imagine anybody's going to win.
I would love to really see how Mo would have played this if he had ace-king right here.
Well, and I like the bet by Brian. He bets right into what he's hoping is ace-king.
Well, some people, Dave, would say, well, why not check raise there? Because Mo's going to be expecting to bet there with an ace.
And like I said, if you mix up your play, either play is obviously you can make an argument for either one.
Right.
Now, it's interesting. I actually was watching. I actually read the entire 2+2 thread, and I watched a lot of the show yesterday.
Right.
When I got home today, I was watching it. And I actually posted something myself because there's a lot of things that went on yesterday that I want to address. And throughout the show, I will. First and foremost, about the whole counterfeit argument between you and Shirley.
That argument
and
is
I'll get into it in a second. I don't want to hear anything from you, okay?
Barry, we got seat 8 here has got ace queen, Philly out. And we had a small little raise here by Brian with deuce 8 of diamonds. Barry's going to call and Al's going to call. So Brian has the button. He raised it up, and here we go to the flop. 10 deuce 8, and look at this. Brian hits bottom 2 pair.
Now, this is a different case. Now, Barry's got top pair, and he can get himself in trouble, especially against Brian.
Yep.
Because Brian will make moves.
Well, you got to think that if you're going to raise with garbage and you hit it bigly here, and maybe people put you on high cards, you're definitely going to bet this flop.
Oh,
He is.
without a doubt.
He's going to bet 125. And look at Barry. I think did he go for check raise and chips there? Wow, no, he just called. In Philly, Al is going to call with overcards.
Oh, that's terrible
Or did
play
he-
by Philly.
Wait a minute.
No, see, Barry raised it. Yeah, Barry raised
Wow,
it. I knew
Barry
he
did raise it. How did Al call the check raise with ace queen?
I got to tell you, it's going to save Barry there, but that's a terrible play by Ali. What is he calling with?
Actually, you know what happened there, Dave. It was very difficult to figure out. Barry called in Philly, Al check raised. That's what happened. And Brian's come over the top and re-raised. Philly, Al check raised.
So basically, Philly Al just saved Barry, because Barry
Yeah.
might have lost some money in this pot.
Right. And
But when he
Brian
sees
went
two
right
players, he sees two
back
players in
over
there.
the
Forget
top.
it. What is Philly Al doing?
And Philly, Al folds.
I got to tell you, I played with Philly Al last night, and he's a really nice guy. But, man, he is like a tournament player who can add up. He gets a lot of chips early in the tournament, and by round 4, round 5, he goes broke. It almost seems like it's inevitable with him.
Wow.
And how do you call 350? How do you raise with ace queen? You're raising two players there. What are you doing?
I guess he was just trying to make a move at the pot. Maybe he thought that Brian had nothing, had the same type of hand that he did.
And Barry's got nothing too?
I know, Barry calling in between is
That's what I mean. If Barry doesn't call in between, yeah, sure, go ahead and make the move.
Mo's going to make a raise here. He's got ace-queen suited under the gun.
He continually plays this like a tournament. He always does. He's trying to accumulate chips fast, like he thinks he needs to.
We got a smooth call here by Garland in seat 2. He's got pocket eights.
Now,
seat
what is
4's going to call
what's
with a
Josh going to do with ace king here?
And Josh has got ace-king in the big blind. He's just going to make the call. And we are going to see 55 times 6 here. $330 pot. Mo's the original pre-flop raiser. King, deuce, deuce. Josh has got the best hand here.
Yeah.
George has got top pair here, too. And Garland, might he get in trouble if it gets checked to him? But Josh is going to lead right out.
Oh, I love the bet by George. That's a big bet, though.
Pot's 330.
Oh, let's see what he bets here.
175.
He's going to bet 175
Okay.
into a $330 pot.
And that's actually not George. That's Dion.
And Dion is going to immediately
George is in
call.
seat 3.
Dion immediately calls, and Dion is in big-time kicker trouble here.
Oh, yeah.
Pot now is about $700. Here we go to the turn. Turns is 6. We're heads up, ace-king against king-10. And how much does Josh have in front of him there?
Problem is, Dion really can't. He's got a lot of money. He's got a $1,000 chip behind him as well.
He's only going to bet 300 here.
Yeah, and
it looks
Dion
like.
can't beat much. What can he beat?
He's going to bet 300. And is this a little bit of a scared bet by here, Josh, trying to hope that maybe this guy isn't slow playing a deuce?
I think so. Josh has got to be a little bit nervous here.
And he's going to make the call. He's going to make the call. He just calls here.
I gotta
and
tell you,
the pot's $1,300.
You got to throw out a little like $500 bet on the river here now. Throw a little $500
Well,
bet.
you can't beat king queen now.
The nice thing about his hand though is Dion's probably going to call this, thinking, okay, well, I got kings up.
300.
He's going to bet 300. There's a little blocker bet into a $1,200 pot.
That's a nice little bet. And he's going to call.
And he does make the call, and he's going to take it down there with kings and deuces with an ace kicker.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Josh bet about 500 or 600, but still 300's about where, not a bad bet there. Leaves himself enough outs to get out away from it if Dion was slow playing his deuce.
Now, are you really familiar with the way that Dion plays?
I played with him one night, and from appearances, I thought he'd be really tight and solid, and
Right.
but he actually is a little more tricky than that. He will make moves. He's a tournament player out of New York, and after playing here for a couple of weeks, he's actually thinking about moving here.
Button's going to move over here to seat 8.
Now, ace-queen this time in the small blind for Josh. And seat 2 has got...
35.
You look at this, seat 2 has made it... Now, this is interesting here. Garland has limped in with pocket 10s under the gun, and Brian has raised it. Now, is Garland going to repop it? Let's see.
We've got a bunch of callers in between. He's just going to call.
Come on, Garland, step it up, buddy.
And 60
So-
raise.
No,
Wait a minute. He did raise.
he's going to raise. He
did
announced raise. There you go. Did the old limp re-raise with the pocket 10s in first position. And Brian's really doesn't have much, and Garland does not have that much money behind him. I don't think Brian can really call this.
He
What
made
do
it
I
one-
know?
He only made it 150. Brian's going to make the call here. And Josh has got ace-queen offsuit, and Al's going to move all in here with the rest of his money with queen 5 of clubs.
I've told you time and time again.
Wow. And now, does this raise open up Garland to another re-raise? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much money is there. Let's see.
Remember, we
Let's
had
get
this discussion. It has to be 100%, right, Dave?
Yes.
It's not limit. It's not 50%. How much more is it here from Al?
Okay, 170.
Well, it's 170 more. Does
Yes.
170 more? Does that mean Garland can re-raise now then, right?
I'm not sure if it's 170 more or 170 straight.
Well, the dealer said 170 more.
Then he's all in.
Yeah,
There
and
you
he's
go.
going to move all in here.
Nice play by Garland here. And this is Philly Al to a T. Philly Al lacks the discipline and the patience to play in a cash game.
710.
Absolutely lacks the patience to play in a cash game. He cannot do it.
Yep, Garland's going to move all in, and Brian releases the hand.
And Brian gets squeezed and throws it away, yeah.
Yeah. And Al has got one overcard. No
There you
help
go.
there.
Come on.
3, 4, 8 with a couple of hearts.
Come
Al's going
on,
to need to
Garland.
strike a queen. Oh, he's open-ended now. A 6, an ace, or a queen would do it here for Philly Al.
Come on, King.
Here we go to the river. The river's a 9, and
There we
Garland's going
go.
to take it down. Boy, you're a homer. We're supposed to be independent back here.
Why? Who said that?
You're one of these San Diego Chargers radio broadcast announcers, huh?
Not at all. Not at all. It's a matter
Come on, Drew
It's a matter-
Brees.
you know what?
Put it together.
I got to be honest. I actually made a mistake. I played in a hand with Garland the other night, and something I always preach to our listeners, I always say, if you beat somebody out of a hand, don't say I'm sorry. And what did I do the other night? The other night I knocked out Garland. I took about $700 from him, and the first thing I said was, I'm sorry. And he looked at me and goes, Dave, I thought you don't do that. And I
Right.
go, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I felt like the biggest idiot. And he's a really nice guy, and he's been running so bad lately, he said. So I was just hoping that he would win a pot, and he played that hand well, and I wanted him to be rewarded with it.
If we have full game,
And Philly Al's just, like I said, he's a nice guy, but he has no idea how to play a cash game. He's like the definition of dead
5
money.
players.
We got 5-way action here. Limped around. 5-4 jack here. Mo's got an ace 5.
That's 60.
And he's going to bet $60. And Barry's going to make the call.
Two players.
He's got he's got bottom pair there. We're heads up. The turn's a 9.
Yeah, Dion is open-ended now.
And it goes check, check here.
And Dion backs into the best hand here.
One pair.
Look at
There's
that.
a queen. Dion is not in the hand there. It's heads up there between Barry and Mo.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about
What
that.
do I know?
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologize, everybody.
You have the nuts, no?
Now, I wanted to get back to this little counterfeit thing that you and Shirley were talking about. And in the end, to me, it's all semantics. I go, you know what? Whatever the definition might be of the word, who gives a crap, you know?
Right.
And I just got to throw this at you. I mean, because I will never kiss anybody's ass, with maybe the exception of my producer. And as much as I love Shirley's ass and I'd love to kiss it, I'm not going to kiss it. Okay, not in this case. You know, who gives a crap in the end? You know, counterfeit, whatever the definition of. Let's be honest. Who really writes these definitions?
Right.
You know, what is like the person who writes it, Almighty God or something? Let's be honest.
Right.
You know, so as long as we all know what we're talking about, to me it's the same as like, okay, what is the proper usage of whom or who? You know, or when do I use the word serious or seriously? You know.
Right.
I don't want to walk around with the proper dictionary version. So that's my 2 cents on it.
$60 raise here by Mike. $60 raise. We got a call here by Mo. Call by seat 7. Call by Mo. And that's Barry Woods there with King 10 of clubs in seat 7.
Yeah. So Brian's actually raised it up with Big Slick here. Huh?
Yep. So here we go. We got a $240 pot going 4 ways.
Well, there's the ace.
Ace 8-6. Well, Brian should bet here, obviously. See if anyone else is going to get involved.
Yeah, nobody's really got much of anything. 2 spades out there. Mo's got bottom pair, but no draw. This should go bet, fold, fold.
65.
Going to bet 65 here.
65?
Wow, that's a really weak bet. 65 into a $240 pot. He's
You know
trying to
what?
trap here.
Yeah, he's trying to play like he's weak
Let's see what Mo's going
and
to do.
see if somebody picks up on it and tries to steal from.
And
sure
that's
enough,
exactly what Mo's going to do here.
yeah, he just played Mo there. He played it like he was weak, like he had like pocket 9s or pocket 10s.
And Mo's going to make it 130, I think, here, Dave, the minimum.
Yeah,
He raised it 65 more.
and that's Brian. Brian did that on purpose. And Brian's going to re-raise this.
And there you go, 600. He's going to re-raise it to 600 more, and I think Mo got the information that he was looking for.
Now sometimes Mo will really screw a guy doing this because what he'll do is instead of raising him and trying to steal a pot, sometimes Mo will go, okay, you want to play it tricky. I know you got ace king or a big hand.
Right.
I'll just smooth call, and if I hit my 6 or my 7, I'm going to break you
Yeah.
on the turn.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, and Mo tried to make a move on him. And it's funny, sometimes weakness, strength looks like weakness. They're very close.
Right. Absolutely. And the button's going to move over here to seat 2. Is Philly Al come back to the table here, Dave? Got more chips.
God. He's just... Oh, look how much money he's got, too.
Wow.
Juicy.
Well, again, you said it. I mean, sometimes tournament players do not have the discipline to sit around and wait. Although, take a look at the way that Phil Locke played last night. We were discussing it.
He's not a tournament player.
Yeah, no, not at all. But I'm saying a lot of people know him from tournaments.
Right.
His style, we were talking about this with people that know him to play, and he really played this way last night, is to limp in with a lot of hands and win big pots as opposed to winning a lot of small pots.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a professional poker player about his style, and they said he very often will buy in for a lot of money. And what he does is he just starts to use that to push the table around, only on a few pots here and there. He makes his moves, and he tries to win big pots. And by winning big pots, he means hitting sets.
Right.
Hitting a set of queens, hitting a set of kings, and so forth. Jacks. He doesn't want to win small pots. That's his style of poker.
Now the flop comes out here, 10-7-9 with a couple of hearts. Brian is going to bet here on a 9. It was just a big folded around in the blinds there, and he takes it down.
Yeah. But Phil Locke is very much of a cash player. Now, he obviously has the versatility to transfer that game and be able to be very successful in tournaments as well.
Right. But it was interesting to see him play a lot of hands slow pre-flop.
Yeah.
He made one move that didn't work during the night.
Not suited.
Now,
And-
Philly Al is a pure tournament player. And I'm not sure how successful he is at that either.
Right.
I just don't think he has the discipline or the patience to really be successful at poker.
Well, we got pocket kings here over in Ryan's hand in the big blind, but Barry's going to open raise here under the gun. He's got king 10 of diamonds. He's going to make it, looks like 65 to go.
Now, look at this. This is interesting here. Garland's got ace jack of hearts.
He's going to call. So let's see what Brian's going to do out of the big blind with the Cowboys.
And what's the original raised?
I think it's 65.
So what do you make it here? Maybe 240 here?
Let's see how much he's going to make it.
Now, Phil Locke might smooth call this, right? And try to hit a big hand.
We didn't see him have kings or aces, but
But
we did
that's-
see him limp and call
Right.
with queens. That was one of the most baffling hands, and I'll explain more of it
Yeah.
after we get over this hand.
But that's the argument for it. Instead of winning, and he's going to raise it, I think, 200 more. Maybe 300.
275.
275 more.
275 more, and I don't think either player can call this. You know Barry can't call this guy.
I mean, Barry's got king 10. That's a questionable raise under the gun anyways.
Yeah. You got your information there. You're called by Garland. If you're called by Garland, you're probably behind in 2 spots.
Right.
You know, let's be honest. Now, the interesting thing is, there is an argument to be made for smooth calling here with Kings in a no-limit game because, okay, you raise the 275, right? The likelihood is everybody's going to fold, and you're going to win about $150 in dead money. Now, if Phil Lock's argument is, no, I'm going to smooth call with Kings, play it tricky, and if I catch my king and somebody else catches something, hey, I might win a $13,000 pot.
Right. Well, Barry hasn't folded yet. Again, like you point out, you raise under the gun, you get called by Garland, and then you re-raise by Brian, although we've seen some of the garbage that Brian's played hard here so far.
No, it's not. Honestly, I'm not folding because of Brian. I'm folding because Garland's behind me.
And there you go, he folds. And Garland instantly folds.
The ace-jack suited is just a garbage hand.
And Brian's going to show Barry the hand, so...
I mean, suited makes it marginally better, but,
right.
You know, come on. I mean, you don't really want to throw $200 more in there with ace-jack suited.
Dave, I was watching the rerun last night of Live at the Bike.
Yeah.
And Phil Lock, there was one hand, he limped in with pocket queens.
Right.
He got 2 or 3 callers behind him, and I was like, boy, this is going to be interesting to see Lock play queens in an unraised pot. The small blind, who had been playing it tight all night, raised it to 400. And he just called.
Right.
And he got 5-way action with his queens, which I thought was very interesting because it's normally not the way that you want to play the hand with queens. We're going to take a look at chip count here.
You know, Barry with the lead here with 4,800. But he's obviously probably bought in for the most.
Right.
Mo's at 4,300. George at 35. Josh at 3,000. Dion there bringing up the rear at 1,200. He lost a pretty big pot with King 10. Real questionable calling down with King 10, don't you think?
Yeah.
Guy bets out, bets out, bets out. Flops King Deuce Deuce. What the heck can you beat?
Right.
With King 10. And seat 2 here, that's Garland. He's going to make it 35. And that's the problem with Garland's game. He just doesn't raise enough. $35 is like, come on in, invite you in.
Right.
And he's in there with King Queen offsuit. And Garland does raise the same amount on all his raises, but I just like to up it a little bit more than that.
Well, Ace King Jack here. Barry's got top pair and a gut shot.
And Garland's got second pair with a gut shot.
And Barry's going to come out and he's going to bet here, it looks like.
115.
115. Now Garland, obviously, the second pair gut shot. He's going to get away from it.
Yeah, that's gonna. So what happened there with the queens?
Well, basically, you know, it was funny. The flop came out with a king. It came king high. It got checked to Avo, who I think was on the button, and he ended up having pocket eights. He bet. Lock called, and everyone else folded. The turn card came a blank. Lock checked.
So was it heads up?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
No. But the pot was 5 ways on the flop.
Wow.
He never
re-raised.
He never re-raised. He actually ended up, I guess, almost a little bit outplaying Avo, although he had the best hand. Avo made a lot of questionable checks on the turn last night. One in particular with Ace-Jack that just absolutely baffled me against Phil Lock. He actually got a call out of Phil Lock because Phil Lock hit a pair on the river. He was betting into an open-ended straight draw. We saw Avo do the same thing when Barry Woods made that big call with the 7 of hearts one time. For some reason, he just made a check on the turn when he had the best hand in position.
Wow. Heads up here, 10-8 versus 10-8 here. Brian suited, though.
And he picks up a diamond jaw.
Yeah, he's free rolling.
Both players have gut shots.
Barry is drawing dead to win this pot. And I imagine he's going to go bet fold.
So do I. 40.
And he's going to bet 40.
I mean, I guess from what I heard, I guess that's Phil Lock's style in the sense of I'm going to smooth call with the queens, hope this guy has a pretty big hand, and if I hit my queen, I'm going to make big money.
Right.
Now, in a restricted buy-in game, I'm not sure that's the correct way to play because you can't win as much. Now, if you're $100,000 deep and somebody else is $70,000 deep, you can slow play almost everything. Not even slow play, but you can almost try to trap
And
everything.
look at this. Barry's going to call.
What?
Turn is a king. Now both players are open-ended, but again, Brian's got the flush draw.
Barry called? How does Barry call that?
And Barry's going to put in a bet here, it looks like. He's going to bet 500.
150.
Oh, excuse me, 150. 150 here. It's about a pot-sized bet, I want to say. Maybe a little under the size of the pot.
Now, you wonder, is Brian's hand strong enough here to raise this and take it away right now? Brian's had an open-ended straight draw plus the flush draw. A 9 or an ace would give him a straight. Any diamond would give him the flush. He just calls this. Wow. And you wonder if Barry can take it away if they miss.
And there you go. The diamond comes here on the river.
And is Barry going to represent diamonds?
I don't know if Barry's that advanced, but Barry has absolutely nothing. So
Well,
the only
Bri-
way he's going to be able to win this
Well,
hand
Brian
is
actually
that
tells him, don't bet now.
he's going to check. I think he just checked. He banged on his chips.
Yeah. Well, Brian said, don't bet now. I'm not sure why he'd say it.
Barry checked.
You want to pick one? Pick one. You have a king jack, right? Pick one.
And Brian's going to bet. Looks like maybe.
Yeah, okay, this is
500.
over. Anyway, so I hope we put the whole counterfeit thing to rest. Because in the end, obviously, there's no point in arguing over something where everybody involved knows what we're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like the whole argument of going, well, he's flopped trips. Or, nope, he's flopped a set. Or he's, okay, we know what he's talking about, okay? It's like when my mom used to go, I'd say, well, seriously, Mom. She'd go, no, it's serious, Dave. It just drives me insane.
Well, I don't want to continue the argument because
It's
there's
over.
no point
It's over.
to it.
I'm done.
But
It's
don't
over.
make that analogy of set versus trips. It's
Oh,
not the same,
stop
Dave.
it, okay?
It's not the
Jesus
same.
Christ. You're like a woman.
I didn't get that.
Anyway, on to the next thing.
I just think it's funny that Steve Badger wrote an article claiming
Okay.
the same
It's over.
thing.
Anyway, on to the next thing. It was an interesting little post. I know Shirley was talking about that hand that she had where she flopped a straight. And it's amazing that there's some people on 2+2 and full tilt poker that are hammering her about it. But, I mean, to me, I just don't understand. Obviously, if I know what everybody has, yeah, I call.
Full contact poker.
Full contact, okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, my point is, if I know what everybody has, yeah, I can call. But this is poker, folks. You never know what everybody has. And I got to tell you, if I flop a straight, I bet somebody calls me, another guy moves all in, and another guy calls the all in,
It's a little tough.
I'm done. I don't care what they have. I'm out of there.
Limped around here. Sometimes you can pick your spots as a better battle.
55.
Mike's going to bet here 55. Excuse me, that's Brian in seat 6. He bets 55, and he's going to take it down there. A nice little position bet. Again, sometimes when a board comes paired,
What the hell are you doing in
no one hit any part of it, and he bet there in position, and he took it down.
Well, I think Brian has played like 83% of the hands tonight.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? No, I mean, if somebody bets, okay, you smooth call. Actually, no, you bet somebody calls you already. Then you get a raise to all in, and then a call all in.
I didn't get that.
I just don't understand how you possibly can think a straight is good. There are a lot of hands you can beat. I mean, you think about it, you go, okay, maybe a small flush somebody has. You could be drawing dead. I mean, to me, it's an easy fold.
$30 raise here. And look at Brian come in here. He's got 9-3 offsuit this time. King-Queen offsuit's going to call here. Mo's got King-Queen. Josh is going to call with pocket 7s. And let's see what Mo does. Looks like we got Shirley Rosario on the thread here tonight.
Oh, there you go.
And Mo's going to raise with King-Queen offsuit. He thinks Brian's full of garbage, and Brian is. Dave, Brian's he's playing really loose aggressive here, isn't he? My God. I mean, 9-3 offsuit, raising with deuce 8 of diamonds. I mean, that time it was on the button, but, sometimes, you understand you like to raise it up in position, but you got to have somewhat connected cards, don't you? That work together.
Well, Brian doesn't, obviously.
I guess Brian doesn't.
No,
right?
he just, whatever. He just 2 cards. He goes, I'm going to just try to run. Brian's just trying to run the table over. For some reason, he thinks he can do it. I don't know why.
Right.
But it's funny, though. So in that case, that was that interesting there. We were talking about the counterfeit, obviously. To me, it's just one of those things that it's not really worth arguing about. Obviously, we can all figure out what the definition of it is, and obviously
Right.
there's a correct answer and not a correct answer. But as long as we're on the same page and we know what we meant. Like, obviously, in Yoshi's case last night, okay, whatever you want to call it, whether his hand was counterfeited or not
It was
counterfeited.
worthless at
His
the
hand
end.
was worthless, right.
Right.
He played the board.
This one limped around here, checked around, and the river comes up king. The funniest thing is about poker terms, and no one's going to bet this one, and now Brian's going to bet it. No one wants it, I'll bet it.
Well, I mean, Brian.
Poker terms, David, we were talking about this outside, are contrived terms.
Of course they are.
People made them up, and then sometimes they can be, taken into, taken into this, this count, and, meaning this, and then sometimes meaning that, depending on how people interpret them, right?
Exactly. And you have to understand, obviously, our show is live. It's unedited, unscripted.
Right.
We don't sit there in post-production going, okay, well, let's write the script. No, that's the wrong word. Let's figure it out. Let's rewrite it.
Right.
We just speak up top of our head.
Right.
And obviously, sometimes we say incorrect things. Hopefully, you won't publicly flog us for that. Well, you can flog me. I might enjoy that.
Limped around here. It was funny. I got to tell you something here. We're going to see the flop. 10-4-4 here. Doesn't look
Brian is the hand, of course, right? Yeah.
like he is, and no one really caught any part of this.
I mean, I don't mind playing aggressive, but Brian has played literally. Somebody counted. I think he's played like
Almost
90.
every hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's in every single hand.
Well, Al's going to bet here in position with ace high. He probably thinks, there's a good chance his hand is good, and it wasn't quite. It was second best, but Garland had the best hand. He's not going to play with ace jack there with that flop.
Yeah, it's a pretty
And he's out of there.
passive table. I think that's what Brian's thinking, though, right? Don't you?
Yeah. You know how, remember that one day that I was sick and they had Bart sound bites?
Yes, I do.
We had this instance, I think it was maybe on Tuesday night, where Shirley said, I was wrong. Did we capture that?
I actually remember that because it was I was wrong. I
I'm
was
just
wrong.
kidding, Shirley.
When I think it was I was wrong right after something I did right. Like I made a call or something like that. 'Cause I remember watching the show on Tuesday.
King Queen Sybil here for seat 4 is in the big blind. Looks to be the best hand right now.
From Palm Springs. Because of
And
that, I
it's
said
going to
he's
get
on the
limped around.
day. But he's on the board. Gore is on the way.
Oh, come on. Dion's got to raise that up. Where's the button?
It's in seat number 2, I believe.
Oh, okay. He's in the big blind then.
Well, how about Garland maybe raising it up with pocket fives? on
In
the
late
button?
position? Yeah, he
Yeah.
should.
Gets checked to him, and he's going to bet here. There's only one overcard, and that should be enough to take it down. He's got a gut shot. He has the best hand. Well, wow, Dion's going to call here? What is he calling for?
Wow. Gonna call making a move here?
Well, I mean, you got to think that Garland, maybe he might be a little bit scared to fire again. And it goes check, check, and the river's a 7, but pocket fives are still good. Garland just checked it down there at the end.
Kind of an odd play. Well, you know what Dion might have been thinking, and this is his thinking. He might have said, "Wait a second, this guy has an ace in late position. He would have raised."
Yeah.
So he probably doesn't have an ace. Well, that means my king or my queen are probably good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to throw something out there. Okay, the third point I wanted to get to is I really wanted to get to the hand that Barry Woods actually talked about. It was after the webcast was over. Barry went broke with a pair of queens against Bruce Parker's king 4. And Barry left it. Last thing Barry said was, and everybody knows, I mean, I'm very Barry biased. I love Barry. He's a great guy. But Barry said, how can you possibly play when somebody's calling you $600 raises with king 4 offsuit? I'll get to it in a second.
Seat 7 here, raised to 40. Barry Woods, he's got ace 10 offsuit. And there's the Greek poker god, George Georgian. He's on the button. He's got an 8-5 offsuit. And he's got a re-raise to 150. So he's made the mini raise, or he's made the raise of $90. Brian's out of there. And Barry's going to call. Well, George is not necessarily playing this hand for its value. He has position on Barry.
No, he's playing the player here. See if he can take it away, obviously.
Well, it's not like Barry's the most passive guy around, Dave. Well, neither player have hit anything here. Barry's going to check.
Well, George got a pair of 5s, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's got bottom pair. And George is going to.
Hey, you'd think that you'd really want to play against Barry, bet for value against Barry, not really
Right.
try to bluff him out, would
Maybe,
you?
3-bet or 3-bet Garland in position. Something
Oh,
like that.
definitely.
Yeah.
3-bet. It's not limit hold'em.
Well, that is the terminology
Right,
that
I
people
know.
use. In no limit hold'em as well.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Are you sure? Let's argue about it.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a seat there.
Don't you read the 2+2 high stakes posts?
I avoided it as much as I possibly can. Anyway, so on to that hand, though. Barry was talking about how he went broke pretty much with queens. The flop came out 4-4-3, and Bruce Parker had called his raise with king 4. And Barry's mistake there was he wasn't playing the player. There are some players that will make a move, a la Bobby Bolande, a la Vince Bergio, maybe. But Bruce Parker is not making a move. I've now watched him 3 or 4 times, and he's not going to make a move.
Right.
And check it out. Look who's got his man purse with him.
Oh, look at that. It's Gore. He's got
Gore?
the Michael Jordan shirt on. Welcome to the game.
Gore and his man purse.
That's the same man purse he's had around for a while.
Well, it's like a Gucci man purse, man. What do you want to get rid of that thing?
He's got some
Your first floor
moisturizer in there. He keeps his money in there.
Okay.
Sunglasses.
Okay.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4.
Out there.
One of the really, really interesting things that came out of last night, Dave, also was the
Is-
fact that Phil Locke said that he loved being here and that he might start coming here on a regular basis.
Yeah, I talked to him last night,
Yeah.
and I talked to actually Phil Locke after the show, and he was really nice, really
Right.
good guy about it and all. And he said, yeah, he actually was interested in possibly playing the Friday game as well as the Wednesday games occasionally.
Right.
But obviously, see, with Barry Woods, the problem is if you've got $20,000 behind you, a player has trouble getting away from big hands. you might call with any 2 cards against him when he raises because you know he's got a pretty big hand and maybe you can win a big pot on him.
I mean, Barry came over to me today and I was talking about the hand with him, and I said, you know, Barry, I know I get on you about, you know, getting rid of overpairs, but you got to play the player, and there's just no way that Bruce Parker is going to make a move all in on you as a bluff in that spot. I just don't see it.
And there are sometimes, sometimes you know, no limit hold'em is really a big part of the game is reading your players, and you've got to be able to read them.
C4 is going to raise it up here to 50 on the button. He's got 10-9 off suit. Wow, and look at that. Josh gets away from King-Queen off suit in early position there, Dave.
Wow.
Something you don't normally see in this game.
It's a good lay down there. Just to address Baron Vanger Toth on the 2+2 thread. If you want to follow us on the 2+2 thread, you can actually go to 2plus2.com. Go to forums, go to World Poker Tour and other events, and click on Live at the Bike thread for December 22nd.
Right.
And he was talking about, obviously, the sets versus trips. And obviously, I know there's no discussion. And obviously, there are clear definitions for any of these words.
Right.
My whole point is, though, it's not worth arguing about.
Right,
Who
on a live
cares?
show.
You know, hey, after the show, you and Shirley want to go out and get a drink and go talk about it for 3 hours? Go ahead.
Seat 7 here. He's got Queen-Jack.
That's my only point.
Jeff said Papa looked good the other night. I mean, as far as
500.
as good as he could look.
Yeah. I saw this morning.
And they're going to chop this one up here. Brian
Chop,
and Barry
yeah.
Woods.
Yeah, I swear, I feel like I'm on speed tonight.
I feel that way, too, that you're on speed.
I just had like 2 Red Bulls and like a superfood. I'm like wired.
Oh, you had that like a celery or like a spinach
Yeah,
drink?
naked superfood. I'm just like,
Uh.
wow.
You ever taken shots of wheatgrass before?
I have.
Yeah. Tasty.
I
didn't
gives me the
like,
worst case of the shits.
I didn't like it at first, but now I've kind of it does taste like grass, I got to tell you, but I actually kind of developed I've acquired a taste for it.
Yeah?
Jamba Juice.
Essentially, we got a little raise from Mo here with Ace Jack.
Suited.
And seat 7 here, Barry, also has Ace Jack, and he's in the small blind.
Ace Jack of Diamonds. Seat 4's got a little calling hand over there with 8-9 of hearts.
Yeah.
And Seat 3's going to call there.
That's funny.
King 9 of spades.
If Ace Jack were to be in there with Ace Jack and 8-9, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm doing this on top of my head, but I would imagine 8-9 is a favorite over 2 Ace Jacks.
Well, Brian's going to come in there with 9-6 of diamonds, and Al's got the same hand. We got 4 players with matching hands
Yeah.
here.
And
Ace
George
Jack,
has got
Ace Jack.
spades. I like Dion's hand, 8-9 of hearts.
And George actually's got King 10. Here we go with the flop. 6-5-4. So Al and Brian have both hit top pair. No one has a real big draw here. Dion's got a gut shot to the 7 with overcards, but they're red cards, and the flop is all black.
Yeah, you got hearts, spades, and diamonds represented, but there's 2 clubs out there.
And it gets checked around. Turn is an 8, and now look at the 6-9 of spades.
Still check.
Yeah, but Dion's got best hand with a pair of 8s. See if he throws a little bet in there.
Well, let's see. And Al doesn't bet here with the 6-9 of spades.
How do you not bet that? Come on.
And Mo has got spades with overcards. We've got 3 people on
Now,
spades.
to me, this is a perfect opportunity for Dion to throw in a nice raise. Mo throws in a little garbage $100 bet. The pot is like $300,
How about
right?
George? He's got spades and overs, too.
Yeah,
He's
no.
going to get rid of it.
Yeah, but this is a perfect. Dion's got top pair and a draw. Oh,
He's
come
just
on.
going to call.
Got to raise that up.
Just going to call.
Got to raise that. To me, throwing a nice $300 or $400 bet there. Take the pot down right there and then, Dion.
And Al and Mo are on the same spade draw. George left with spades, so spades coming here on the river would be pretty unlikely. And Brian overcalls here with the 6.
Maybe let's see if Philly Al throws a little raise in here and takes it down. No,
No, he's just going to call.
And Al's in big bad trouble here.
Yeah, he is in big trouble. Here we go to the river. The river is an ace, and that gives Mo the win.
Yep.
Nobody's on clubs, and he's going to bet again.
Now, I'm not sure if Dion could have gotten Mo off the hand because Mo did have the spade draw.
Well, Mo had a big hand there, Dave, on the turn. Overcards and a spade.
But with 1 card to come, it's not
Plus
that
the
big.
7 makes any straight.
Right, but 1 card to come, it's not that big a hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I want to say that Mo might. I think the action's on him.
I mean, let's be honest. If
And I
Dion
think
throws
that
in a big raise on the turn, if he throws a big raise on the turn, Mo knows his ace and his jack are no good. He knows he needs spades only.
It got checked around, so Mo checked it at the end, and Ace Jack is going to take it down there.
Yeah, Dion played that hand way too passively, I thought.
And Mo Boy, it just seems like every time Mo's in the pot, he wins it, Dave, by the end of the hand.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, if your 8-9 is good enough to call, well, then it's good enough to raise. You certainly don't want, because there's no safe card that can come off, really.
No, absolutely not.
Short of an 8.
Well, a 7, I guess, would be good for you, an offsuit 7, giving you a 9 high straight, but that's just about it. Short of an 8 or a 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Then I think about it.
maybe a deuce comes off, or, a red deuce.
Lots of scary stuff out there.
I mean, I'm saying he should have raised it or fold. I just don't like the call there.
I think Philly Al loses all his money there if a spade comes on the river.
Yes.
I mean, that was interesting. We had 3 people on spade draws. One of the things that we have never seen on the show, and anybody out there, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've seen 3 made flushes. You think about the chances of that happening.
Well, we did see one time where we had 2 people made a heart flush.
Right.
One guy had the ace of hearts also and was still drawing on the river.
Right.
And one guy had actually folded 2 hearts.
Right, yes, we did see that, yeah. Limped around here. 6-way action.
Ooh,
So
Barry's got a
it's a
set.
$60 pot.
Oh, look at this. Uh-oh. Brian has got top 2 pair, and Barry Woods has got a set.
Bottom set against Queen 7 here.
Oh, man, this could get ugly.
And Brian Brian's going to bet 55. Let's see what Barry's going to do here.
Come on, raise it up, buddy.
Oh, he's just going to call. He's just going to call.
I'm bluffing.
Both players think that they're trapping each other. Brian with a
course.
little nibbly back, Barry just calling.
Well, hopefully a nice blank card comes out like
If a queen or 7 comes out here,
Yeah,
Barry's
hopefully
going to lose all his money here to Brian. Here we go with the turn. Turn to 6, safe
that's-
for Barry right now.
pretty safe. But now neither player has the nuts, though. I mean,
And look at this, Brian checked it, and Barry's going to bet.
Just means it's going to end up going again anyway.
Now you wonder, though, do you put him on? No. Oh, Brian's going to check raise.
He's going to check raise it up to 400, it looks like. Actually, 500. Barry bet 125. Brian made it 500 here to go. And let's see if Barry's just going to smooth call. What is Barry waiting for here?
I don't
guess
know why.
He figures he's in position.
Gotta
He might
raise
be able
that.
to make a raise on the river. The river's a jack, and Barry has the best hand. Pot's about $1,000. More
Well, that's a
than
big
1,000.
bet. Move all in. Come on, buddy.
He's going to bet 600, and Barry just calls. What does he think Brian has? What's he scared of?
Well, you know what? You never know with Barry. You never know with Brian.
Yeah.
Brian could be in there with 4-5 to be able, believe it or not.
Lost the minimum, Brian.
And that pot is about $2,500 there on the river. Wow.
Take it down. Barry played that pretty passively, huh?
He did, especially for Barry.
Did I? What would you know
I mean, you got to think. I thought, like you said, if he had raised it up right away, him and Ryan would have kind of gotten a reward there, I think.
You wonder now, the only thing I'm curious about is, okay, Barry raises the river. And this is the truth. The pot's $2,500. Barry raises the river another $1,500. Can he be called by a hand worse than a set of 3s?
Well,
Honestly. Do you call with Queen 7?
it's tough.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't put him on Queen Jack. He's not playing Queen Jack that hard. If Jack came in the river. Do you even call with a hand worse than that? I don't know. So, I mean, you could look at it that way.
Well, I think the Jack actually can be a scary card there for the Queen 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you look at. It's like, what would Brian even pay off another $1,000 or $1,500?
Yeah.
I don't know.
5-way action here. King 6 Jack here with a couple of hearts.
Yeah, Mo's got a gut shot.
Josh has the best hand here with a pair of 6s, and it gets checked around. The turn here is a heart, and it looks like Barry's the only one with a heart there over there in seat 7.
Yep. Anybody going to bet this? No.
River comes ace, and is
Oh.
Josh's hand still good here?
It is.
Wow.
If it gets checked down here, Josh is going to win this.
6.
No.
6 is good.
2.
Unbelievable.
Take it down.
There's no 2. 7.
And Barry limped in there, Dave, in late position with deuce 7 offsuit.
I'm surprised Dion didn't throw a little bet in there on the turn. Why not try to take it? You got the 5 of hearts. You got a pair. You might get a 6 out. You're not going to get a jack out, but you might get a 6 out.
Family should be very proud of you.
Yes.
No.
That hand just paid for,
And what kind of hat is that there? U of M? Is that a Michigan hat that I've never seen?
Yeah, University of Michigan.
Yeah, but I've never seen a hat before like that, though. Yeah, I guess blue and gold, right?
What,
That's
the hat makers of the world that they're passing by you before they put them out in the public?
Go blue?
Yeah, Michigan.
Wolverines, huh?
Yes,
Do you
you've seen-
ever see Red Dawn?
I love Red Dawn. One of my I mean, it is one of the greatest movies of all time, Red
Oh,
Dawn.
you gotta be kidding me.
You know the funniest thing is, I've seen it 100 times. I've seen it 100 times, and I made my wife watch it. I actually bought it. I have it on DVD, and I made my wife watch it, and she looked at me like, "This is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life."
We got a raise here on the button here. 45. Josh's got pocket fours. We had a limp there by Philly Al with queen six of hearts in the cutoff.
And he calls like it was nothing. I mean, come on, Al.
There it is, yeah. So we're heads up here. It's about $100 pot. Al's got overs. Josh has position. And Josh hits a set. And Al's got middle pairs. Is Al going to get front? Look at this. It goes check, check. Josh is going to slow play here a little bit. Turns a deuce. And Al did hit a piece
I
of
bet
the
you Al
flop.
throws a little bet in there.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to bet 100.
Well, Al thinks Josh has got ace king.
I get 300.
Al is privileged. Yeah, there you go.
And Josh is going to raise immediately to 300 here.
Al's pretty easy to manipulate.
We got 200 more. 200 more here for Al in the call.
Look at that. Al's
And he's going to make the call, and he is drawing dead. And hopefully for him, a queen or a 6 won't peel off here. Well, it's a 7.
I was rooting for it.
Well, now a 5 would be a straight.
300.
But Josh is going to bet 300. He's going to make a little value bet here.
But he called 200. He didn't even think about it.
And Al's going to call.
mean,
And
that's just-
Josh is going to win about $1,000 pot there with a set of 4s. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back and call myself a genius, but if nobody else is going to, I'm going to. I mean, let's be serious. Philly Al has no business playing in a cash poker game. Just burning through money. I mean, he found a way to lose $800 on it with a hand of queen six of hearts on that board.
So far, man, I'm sick. I don't want to play when I'm not at my best, you know?
I mean, I don't mind a little shot. Okay, throws $100 to bet. Sure, okay, you got a pair of sixes. Guy raises you.
But it's all right. I
Man.
got my brother here. He's gonna whoop your ass.
I got to tell you, that's Barry Woods' nephew there. I think he plays better than Barry.
Possibly.
All you can eat, baby.
And there's Gore. He's going to limp in with 9-10 offsuit.
Enjoy this one.
Gore, he's just kicking and boxing and, fighting taekwondo, huh? That's where he's been the last few months. We've only seen him on the show maybe one time in the last 6 months.
Yeah, but doing some other things.
He's going to get limped around here, Dave.
I think he's got more jewelry on than my wife has.
Six-way action. Well, you've seen Peter's jewelry.
Yeah.
And here we go with the flop. Looks like the dealer had a little problem with the burn. Queen Jack 9 here. Well, Gore's got bottom pair and he's open-ended.
Well,
Garland's got ace 10. He's open-ended.
Interesting hand here. Let's see how this plays out.
And we got a $50 bet here by Gore. He bets 50. He's got a pair of 9s. It looks like it's the best hand right now, Dave.
Yeah, it's not a bad hand there. He's got bottom pair with open-ended straight draw.
I got respect for you.
Obviously doesn't want to make two pair. And did
And he
Garland
takes it
call
down. No, Garland's going to muck it.
that quickly?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Rainbow board, you got ace 10?
well, it's not. Well, I mean, the other thing, too, is it's not necessarily like if your straight card comes, it's not going to be easy to identify.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
that's what
the
he was
problem is
thinking.
there's got to... No, it's an easy call, though, because if the king comes and somebody else is a 10,
He's got the
you've
nut
got
of
the
it.
ace.
Yeah. If the king comes, can Gore get away from it? You've got
That's
ace
the whole
10. You've got the
point,
nut
exactly.
straight.
It's not just a one card or one liner to the ace. Yes, it's a one liner with the 10. But what if Gore was betting the 10 also? Well, now you got the ace kicker. I mean, you got the ace.
Are you really on speed tonight, Dave? Huh?
A little bit.
I'm,
A little bit. I tell you,
it's Christmas time. You got to be a little bit more happy. Come on.
I'm very happy. I'm just talking. I'm telling the truth, okay? Politically incorrect. I'm trying to keep it real, and I'm being honest, okay?
Josh has got ace king here in seat 9.
What's that? Not rigging.
There are people that are playing well. There are people playing like they're just people that aren't playing well. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it. Exactly. Thank you. Speaking of sugar, I got this great Christmas package. I know you did too from the producers. Some cookies in there and stuff.
Turn it off.
Maybe I shouldn't have any sugar though.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. No
Well,
problem.
Philly Al's got pocket 5s here. We finally see his cards. He's going to raise it up to 20, it looks like. Let's see what Josh is going to do here with the ace king. He's just going to call. And Mo's going to call right behind with pocket 8s. George has got a jack 6 offsuit. Dion's got king 8. Will he complete 10 more?
King 8 offsuit. Yeah, well, I guess he's gonna throw it in there, see what happens.
And we can't see Gore's hand either, but he opened with a limp. Queen 4 offsuit. Wow.
Yeah.
Under the gun?
Actually, no, I think he's big
Maybe
blind.
actually, I think it was actually a straddle.
Okay, there you go.
It's a straddled pot.
So it's $100.
Nobody raised. Yeah.
And nobody has anything here. Mo
9,
still has the
10,
best
3.
hand.
Well, Al's going to come out and he's going to fire with pocket 5s. I don't mind the bet. Well, he's going to
Philly-
bet 150 into a $100 pot. Look at that. Mo gets right onto there.
Yeah, well, Philly Al, he'll always fire once. If he gets called, he'll stop. And I don't mind Mo's throwing it away either. He played it slow to see if he could hit a set and win a big pot. When he doesn't hit his set and then a couple overs it, he throws it away.
And Josh also played it slow there with the ace-king. So it was straddled by Gore, and of course straddling is making the blind double. So it's 20 to call, and Gore would have the option. So there it is.
So it was interesting. I played in the 5-10 game last night, and I swear the whole month of December I've been on absolute fire. Okay?
Yeah.
And then I played that Tuesday like a complete donkey, gave away $1,000. And that kind of refocused me, and I've rededicated myself to playing, and I've been on fire since then. And the last 3 days, I mean, I swear, I was on fuego last night. I mean, I challenge anybody to come in here and play me right now. It's just... but beware, I am just in fuego.
Josh has got ace-king here, and seat 5's got pocket queens. We had a $40 raise, seat 3 called, so Josh opened the raise in ace-king, and let's see what Gore's going to do with queens in the blind. $40 here from Josh and a caller in between. You'd imagine he's probably going to re-raise, and he is.
Yeah.
Looks like maybe 1 to 200.
Yeah, and Gore's queens can be tough to play out of position. Let's see how he does it.
Gary's got 8-6 off suit here. He had limbed.
Yeah, this is an easy lay down here, and Josh will probably call this, I would assume.
Well, he's in position.
In position with ace-king, why not call once? He's got a lot of money behind him.
I was going to say, if you fold this hand in position, Dave, I don't really know what you're playing in there for.
Yeah, well, there are times to throw ace-king away, but for $200 when there's already...
George actually has jack 10 here, but he's going to fold, so it doesn't matter.
If there's already $120 of dead money in there, you know.
Well, here we go to the flop, but a $500 pot here. Queen, jack, deuce, Gore's hit top set.
Now, this is
And
interesting.
Gore checks it, and Josh checks right behind. Let's see if a 10 peels here. Gore's playing it slow. No, the turn's a 5. And now Gore's going to bet. That's 300, and Josh doesn't buy it. He's
Yeah,
out
there
of
you go. I love the check behind by Josh.
Yeah. Again, anytime, Dave, somebody raises out of the blind and then checks it, unless maybe the guy had something like pocket 9s or pocket 10s, in which case you're still not in the lead. You know, it just always seems fishy to me.
I don't mind. You know what? If somebody raises out of the blind and the flop comes out ace-king 4, and then he checks,
right?
Okay, that's understandable. He could have queens.
Right.
You know, he goes, "Oh, forget it, I'm giving up on it." But if the flop comes out queen high and he raised out of there,
Right.
you almost have to put him on a sit.
Anyways, Red Dawn had
Wolverines.
Yeah, it had Charlie Sheen and Patrick Swayze.
Oh, a whole bunch of people. It also had
The chick that was from Ferris Bueller and what is it, Flashdance or whatever, Aaron Gray. Yeah.
it's a star-studded cast.
Dirty Dancing. There we go.
C. Thomas Howell.
Got no hand there?
We had a raise here on the button, I believe, to 55. And
It's the good old days. Cold War was going on.
Brian called here in the blind with 8-10 off suit. So the pot's about 200 here, 4 ways. Seat 4, the pre-flop raiser. And look at this, he hits trip jacks. But look at this, Josh has got trip jacks too in seat 9.
Uh-oh.
2 people have flopped trips.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if Josh can get away from this one.
Josh is going to bet, it looks like, right into it.
See where
Pot's
he's
about
at.
200. He's going to bet 75, and let's see what Dion does.
It's really interesting. I'm curious to see how Dion plays this fast or he plays it slow. Let's see.
There's a couple clubs out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Some straight possibilities. Brian could catch a 9 and make a gut shot here. He's just going to call. Brian's out of there. He's not going to chase it with 2 clubs. And here we go to the turn. And this one's going to be interesting. Turn is an ace, and that might be a little bit of a scare card for Josh as well. He's going to check.
Why is that a scare card?
Well, if the guy had pocket aces, it's one more hand that you can't beat now.
Okay. I was just wondering. I'm just going. I'm like,
Well,
okay.
I think he's checking for the intention of check raising here.
And I guess if you put him on pocket 7s, you can't be pocket 7s either.
Raise 300.
He's going to check raise to 300 here. To 425. Well, Dave, what do you think the guy smooth called on the flop with?
Probably a jack.
And the river's a deuce, so Dion called Josh's check raise, and Josh is going to check the river now.
Yeah, I like the check there.
And Dion looks like he's got maybe 300 left here.
Yeah.
He's going to check right behind him.
Wow.
Boy, was that hand played passively.
I got to tell you, I don't understand the check by Dion on the river. You know what? Because there's no way Josh is checking a full house into me.
Yeah, exactly. Ace Jack, right?
And I've got,
That's-
if the guy doesn't have a full house, I've got the next best thing with King Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dion
I mean,
definitely could have made
and
a
it's
little
not like
more.
you're opening up your stack. You only have about 300. The pot's almost 1,000. Why not put the rest of the 300 in? That's a miserable
Man,
check
and
there.
Dion claims he's from New York. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Giving us a bad name.
But anyways, what you said, I know you were trying to be cute
What?
with it. But the ace on the turn, if the guy bets,
Okay.
and the flop is Jack, Jack 7, now he did bet pretty small. But what
And the
is
guy
he,
smooth calls
what
me?
is he smooth calling you? I'm just saying it's one more hand that maybe you might be beat with.
Okay. But I mean, you could say that with any card that comes out. Why is the ace any scarier than, say, if a king comes out or queen comes out or 10?
Exactly, in any overcard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if the guy had ace jack, he already has me beat anyway.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I've seen people actually make that argument in the sense of, like, the flop comes out ace blank blank, I have ace jack. Then the turn comes out a king, and they go, oh, man, if he has ace king, I'm dead. You were losing anyway if you had ace king. You know what I mean?
Right.
King didn't change anything.
Gore raised it up there with ace king. He's going to take it down without a flop.
So I wanted to throw this at everybody on 2+2, actually. And I rarely like to talk about hands, but it was an interesting hand, actually. A really player that was just kind of gambling, let's say a Philly Al type player. He actually moved all in for like $200 against me last night, $250. And I decided that he probably had garbage, so I called him with ace king, okay? $250. And then the guy on the button, who had already limped in, then moved over the top. So the pot has got like $2,200 in it, and it's $1,300 more for me to call, and I've got ace king. And this guy who had done it with on the button, before he had moved all in with ace queen. So it was interesting. I actually called him thinking, at the worst, he's got sevens. We got a hand going on? Okay, go ahead.
Brian here, he raised, but Barry Woods has got aces.
Wow.
So Brian makes it 35, and Barry's going to raise it up. He's going to make it 135 to go, and Brian calls.
Let's give Philly Al credit. He actually got rid of king jack there.
Yeah. So here we go. We're heads up. Oh, and Barry's flopped a set of aces, top pair.
There's no 8 coming there, right?
Yeah, and it's such an ugly flop for Brian. I can't imagine him losing any money on this flop. Huh?
He called this straddle, I said, forget it. Let me see if the
Well, it's
flop
interesting
is-
that Barry's going to play the set this way, yet was he scared with bottom set last time? I just thought he really played that passively with the pocket threes.
Yeah, a little strange.
And Barry Woods is going to, and he shows the hand. So you've got a situation now where you've pretty much made a raise, kind of a donkey guy you think has moved all, or a donkey guy has moved all in front of you. You put no credence in his hand.
Right.
You've got ace king. You call because you think you're going to get it heads up with anyways. And a guy in late position who's only limped in after, 3 or 4 limpers now moves all in for 2,100.
Exactly.
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, now we've got 5 limpers in there, and he's on the button. I'm like, he's not limping in with aces, kings, queens.
Right.
So to me, I thought he either had like ace queen, ace jack, or maybe he had the pocket 5s or pocket 6s. And since the pot was $2,200 and I only had about $1,350 left, I said, okay, this is. To me, I thought it was a pretty easy call. It's funny, after I made the call, a couple people were like, wow, I can't believe you called off your money with ace king.
Well, in that situation, I mean,
Yeah, in a tournament, it's funny. In a tournament, you probably throw it away, or maybe you call 2 there. I don't know. But in a tournament, if you lose that hand, you're out.
Right.
In a cash game, I thought it was positive EV.
right.
And if I lose the hand, okay, I can always reach in my pocket for more cash.
The funny thing is, I understand the example you're giving about a tournament. We'll get to this at the end of the hand. I just don't think there's any possible way that hand would play out that way in a tournament.
Yeah, probably not.
It's just, it's kind of dumb. Look at that. Brian raised over 3-5 and he took it down. It's just pointless to talk about that, but I know what you mean about how sometimes you don't call off all your chips with ace king in a tournament because, you don't want to put all your chips at risk. Whereas in a cash game, you always want to take the plus EV move. In a cash game, if you know you've got 52% equity, you might want to take that risk just as long as you're properly bankrolled. In a tournament, you might want to pass off a plus 55% move to take future plus 75 or 80% moves.
Yeah, even
Right.
60% is pretty good.
Right.
Over 52, say.
Right.
And it was interesting. A couple people were like, they were really amazed because they figured I was pretty tight and I wouldn't really gamble like that. I also like the image that I gave off that I would gamble. And hopefully it'll pay off in the future that these players won't try to think, they can't think they can run over me.
Right. We got three-way action here, limped around. King, queen, deuce. Josh has got a king 9. Got top pair. And he checked it from up front. Turn is a 7.
25.
And he's going to bet 25. You know, another interesting hand.
I can't believe that Baron Vangertop is comparing Roadhouse to Red Dawn. Man.
Brian's going to call here, Dave, because he's got second. Actually, Brian raises. He's made it 35 more, and Josh calls. And this probably might just go check here, unless Brian thinks he needs to bet to win. And the river's a 9. Well, Josh makes 2 pair.
You really think Josh is betting with less than top pair here?
He
I don't
checks.
buy it.
It's the third diamond.
No, why not induce a bluff here?
Well, Brian's going to bet here. Well, actually, Josh came out and bet 125.
Okay.
Got 2 pair.
Little value bet there.
Yeah, and Brian's going to get rid of it there. Another interesting hand that I saw Phil Locke play, too. Again, I guess apparently he doesn't do a lot of pre-flop raising. That's his style. He had raised Dave with a king 9 of spades.
Mm-hmm.
In the cutoff, got a call on the button, and I think the blinds were just in there. And the flop came out king, queen, blank. He checked it on the flop. It got checked around. He checked it again on the turn. Checked top pair twice. We're going to take a look at a chip count here.
Yeah, Barry's added to his stack there with that set of threes. He's up to 7,500, up over 2,000 for the night. Mo is just up a little bit, up to 4,700. Dion added a little bit to his stack. Garland bringing up the rear there with only 1,400. I'm wondering if Garland is just a little bit outmatched in this game. He's really got to step up his aggressive play to win here.
Well, he's going to raise it out of the blind here. He's got ace-queen.
I like the way he played those 10s earlier.
He's up against one player. So everyone folded. Dion limped. Everybody folded to Garland. He raised it to 40, and Dion calls.
There's not enough money there.
40.
If he shows up. If he shows up.
Well, here we go to the
Dion
flop.
almost looks nervous today.
Over here, allowed to play here?
Really,
Jack,
really.
deuce 6. Let's see if Garland makes the continuation
He's
bet.
got to.
And he's going to bet 100
There
here.
you go. Nice bet, Carl. Nice play. There you go. Maybe he was watching his game on Tuesday.
Indians?
Wasn't happy with it. Step it up a little
Well, I
bit.
think, like you said, Garland subscribes to the what Barry Greenstein said on the show about cash games, and I want to know how you feel about this. That he will try to raise it up, Dave, regardless of the situation, the same amount. Your bluffs, your value bets, your semi-bluffs, your pre-flop raises. And,
I agree with that. But I just think that Garland needs to step up the raise a little bit.
As opposed to 4 times the big blind.
Remember Tuesday's game? He was raising it up to $20. The blinds are 5-5. And I understand somebody can say, well, he's raising it 4 times the blind. But we've got, I had like $2,000 behind. You got to raise it up a little bit more, make it actually cost me something.
Look at that French masseuse climb on Gore's back there in seat 5.
I wonder if he's going to get a happy ending.
Ryan's got ace queen here. He made a raise. I think it's 75.
75 over.
And actually, it was seat 4 that raised. We can't see his cards. Brian called, so we need to see Dion's cards in seat 4.
Yeah, and George is out.
Brian's called in position. So we have an ace queen against a mystery hand.
Well, let's
It's
see.
pocket kings. 9, 6, 8 here with a couple of spades.
Sure, I'm on 3-0.
And imagine Dion's going to bet this, and Brian will probably fold.
150.
He bets the pot 150, and I don't think Brian's going to get involved here. Let's see.
Brian's thinking if he can make a move here. Gore looks like he's wearing like a bowling shirt or
I
something.
was going to tell you Gore is coming.
Yeah, he's not going to get involved there. The other thing, too, about Red Dawn, Dave, it was an interesting... Soviet Union Russians invading the United States through Mexico, and it was a bunch of teenagers who were American guerrilla fighters.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a pretty unique idea.
I just, what I love? I love the beginning
And I
of
got to
it.
tell you, that story, I was in 2nd grade when it came out, scared the shit out of me.
I
I
just-
thought they were going to nuke us every day.
I just love the beginning of it. I love the, the newspaper headlines. It says, NATO falls, America stands alone. And then you see these guerrillas coming out of the thing, and the whole opening scene in the school. Oh, chilling.
No,
I tell
well,
you.
that's what I was so scared of in elementary school. I remember Killam Elementary School in Reading, Massachusetts. I used to look out the window.
Killam?
Yeah, that was the name.
Killam?
Killam was the guy's last name.
Killam?
Killam.
God, that would be scary.
Anyways, I was looking out the back window looking for the Russian paratroopers to be landing in the backyard in our field. Three-way action here, limped around.
Hey!
Queen 8-8, and Mo wins a proposition bet.
Yes.
Send it, man.
Yeah, and the proposition bet from Mo is when it's a paired board,
Yep.
they each have certain ones, and Mo is 8.
That one is
Right.
fine.
And I think he wins $100.
Oh, there it is.
And if by the way, if it's a paired board, but it's the same color, he gets $200. And if it's all three of that one, he gets $500.
3/8, 500.
3/8, or if it's 2 8s in the same color, he gets 200.
So it's just a little way to keep your head in the game, right?
Exactly.
It's just all going to even out in the end, the money.
A lot of players do it just to force themselves to focus and pay attention.
Right.
Exactly.
Button moves over here to seat.
And I'm not sure who the proposition bet is with. I can only imagine it's either Barry or Gore.
You know, it's funny. I was reading up about Red Dawn too. When that movie came out, they had that massacre. Was it San Ysidro, California, down by San
You were
Diego?
reading about really?
San Cedro? Cedro. And they were going to have a scene where the tanks were moving up to a McDonald's, but they took it out. 'Cause of the
Brian
massacre.
raised it up here with Ace 3, $75 with Ace 3.
He actually made it $175.
$175?
Yeah. Open raise to one. And actually, well, Gore made a raise, and I believe Brian re-raised, and Gore's got the...
No, Gore's big blind.
Wow.
Brian just open raise.
So Gore just calls. So a raise and just a call, a gross over raise, and the flop comes Jack 6-9, and I guess Gore is going to try to trap here. It goes check, check on the flop.
What the hell's Brian doing?
Turns a 7,
And the pot is now 350, by the way, folks.
and now Gore's going to bet. I mean, Brian, it's like he's risking 175. The blinds are 5 and 10. And the action didn't make any sense, Dave, because it looked like almost like Gore had raised and Brian had re-raised. He open raised to 175, and Gore's like, you know what? I got a monster in the blind here. I can just call. He's playing it like 6s, 7s, or 8s, right?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. And the river would have been an ace, by the way. It would have got a bad beat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just... you're going to risk $175 to win 15? And it's not even 15 because you got to pay the casino 50 cents.
Right.
So win $14.50. What is the point of that? Man.
But anyways, they were supposed to be a scene in the McDonald's, but they took it out because that thing with the McDonald's had happened a couple weeks before. It was actually in the trailer. Hey, Merry Christmas, Rick, our poker operations guys in the booth.
Yeah. Also one of our producers of the show.
Yes.
Responsible for our wonderful gift bag.
Supervising executive producer, I think is his title.
Is that what he does? I was wondering. I've been wondering for the last year what exactly he does.
Dion has the button here in seat 4. George is going to raise it up here.
Well, in the cutoff seat, why not?
Made it 80 to go.
Buy himself the button
Looked
here.
like Mo had made a little limp in here with an ace rack suited.
And then I think he's gonna throw it away. He doesn't want to get behind position. He's out of position against George. I don't think he wants to play his hands.
And they're the only ones that are in the pot. And this is the type of stuff here. Obviously, no limit. You know, it's a big post-flop game. We actually had this discussion, you, Shirley, and I, because we weren't big fans of Matt Trost's article on Card Player about Limit Hold'em. And we were saying that Limit Hold'em is more of a pre-flop selection game. No Limit is more of a post-flop selection game. But you can really make a mistake there by calling a raise out of position by a tight player with ace rag suited going heads up against him. That would be a big mistake. And if you spiked an ace, mistake would just beget mistake there.
Well, that often happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting here. Actually, another topic I wanted to talk about tonight. I guess this is a kind of a conversation night since it's our last show of 05.
Right.
When I sat there one hand,
And it's the wonderful thing about poker, and I'm going to get to the wonderful thing about poker in just a second.
sit down in the beginning of the half hour.
Well, Philly Al limped in here with pocket 8s.
No, you pay it. You pay it for the next time.
You pay it anytime. Anytime. Yeah.
Score? Which game?
I have to win the big game, the 10 point.
Limped here.
You know who's there?
He ordered that drink. Yeah, so he missed you.
Amos is there. All the time. I saw him twice already. He moved over there.
Next time.
5-way action here. Ace, Jack, Deuce with a couple of diamonds. So Gore's got Ace 10, and he's on the button. He made a limp there, Dave. Look at this. Al's going to fire out here with pocket 8s. You know, if you play 8 slow, I guess he's just taking a shot. Maybe he'll just be done with it now that Gore called. Brian's going to call. He's got bottom 2 pair, and he just check calls. No strength here. A couple diamonds, kind of a connected board.
Well, we've never seen bottom 2 pair get counterfeited.
No. Don't use that word, please.
Is that the right word? Oh, no. Edit it. Take it out.
I got to use it, though, anyways, if it comes. Here we go to the turn. Turn's a diamond.
Well, nobody has a diamond here, so.
And it gets checked around.
Gets checked around?
Wow, and the river's a 4, and Brian just played this hand as passive as you possibly could play it.
I don't even know if he's going to get paid off at all here.
But he's going to bet 85 here, Dave, into about a $200 pot. I would imagine that Gore's going to call if Al folds. But what if Al calls? Can Gore call with ace-10? I mean, Brian might be capable of making this move with anything because it got checked on
Well, that's
the turn.
probably going to save Gore.
Well,
I don't think Gore's going to overcall, will he, with ace-10?
well, the thing is, though, is that if it was against, say, 2 tighter players, definitely not. But everybody checked the turn, so maybe Brian's going to bet. And let's say Brian had nothing here and Al called with pocket 8s, but Gore folds.
Yeah, you know what, though? Not to copy somebody else, but what Kathy Liebert likes to say, and I agree with it, is if you give up on the pot...
If you play the hand so stupidly.
If you play the hand passively,
Right.
don't lose more money on it. And, you know, Gore gave him all a free card on the river. He didn't bet the turn. Basically giving up on the pot. He's not going to lose more money on it now.
Right.
I was talking to Mo. I forgot to.
Now, it's an interesting thing, and this is what amazes me about poker is, just like an art, or whether it be acting or music, or there really is, poker really is an art form in the sense that there is no right answer. It's very objective. You know, it's all based on everything. I mean, in this issue, I can't even talk. In this issue of Card Player, Barry Tannenbaum talks about defending the blinds, and Matt Matros talks about defending the blinds, and they have completely differing views. And you kind of wonder, you're going, wait a second, these guys are two professionals writing in Card Player magazine, and they completely disagree with each other. I mean, and the most interesting thing is you could get 10 great poker players in a room, and I'm not sure if they would agree on even one thing.
Right.
And that's what's wonderful about poker.
We got a raise here by Gore, Jack 10 offsuit. Brian's going to call here with pocket 4s. Barry's in there with 8-6 offsuit. And the pot, I want to say, is about $140 here going 4 ways. Queen 10-3. Well, Gore's got middle pair, and it looks to be the best hand here with the best kicker, Jack 10. But Al's going to come out and bet here 125 with the middle pair. And let's see what Gore's going to do here. Gore's not going to get involved. He had the best hand, but he's not going to get involved. And Philly Al is going to take it down. There it is. And again, I keep getting emails and mentions that we are on a thread on Full Contact Poker, so if you want to check that out.
It's 7:15. It's 7:15.
7:01 with that clock? No.
You know, Philly Al, he kind of just looks like a cheesesteak, doesn't he, over there in C-Date?
I remember.
With whiz. He's sweating whiz and onions. Philly cheesesteak.
No, I remember that.
Pocket 10s over here for Garland. It looks like he just limped in. King, Queen, and C3. He's going to limp in.
He ran over here and he said, no, look at it. It's 1 minute before 7.
And
said,
it looks
"Okay, go
like
ahead,
everybody's going to limp here. So I guess the name of the thread over on Full Contact is it's kind of a overflow from last night is a very interesting live at the bike tonight. Check it out. That's Daniel Negreanu's site. We get a raise out of seat 7.
He plays that commerce time.
He's going to make it an additional 125. And look at that. Garland just folds. Pocket 10s. Barry made it 125 to go with 5-7 offsuit, and Garland folded pocket 10s. Pretty tight. Garland doesn't want to get involved, and George is not going to get involved with King, Queen. And I imagine that Gore is not going to get involved here with Queen 4 of spades. I would think not.
So you want to feel like going back home? A
You
loser?
really feel like an accomplished player, huh?
Oh no,
I beat Gore one time.
I
I'm
suck,
the greatest.
Man. I suck.
And Gore is going to get out of there. And these guys have played, you know, it's always a treat to have Gore back on the show.
Grandkids, one time.
Because these guys have played with each other
And I beat Gore for
back in the
$1,000.
old days of Live at the Bike when we were on a different location on the other side of the room.
Where'd you learn that?
From you, dude. From you.
So it's always Barry Woods and Gore are always going back and forth. We'd love to have Jonas come back onto the show too, if anybody knows him out there. Riverboat King on 2+2. He writes some interesting things there, Dave. He You know, he'll respond to a lot of high limit, no limit.
Yeah, Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas. Jonas.
No, he's a great guy, Jonas.
Jonas.
All right,
Ace
my
King
man.
here this time for Barry.
Do it.
And I think that Barry played it slow here. Well, he's going to raise it up.
Hey, it worked the first
I
time.
thought he was just going to limp it up, but he's going to raise. He's going to make it 125. That wouldn't really seem consistent with Barry to limp in with Ace King in late position. And Brian's going to call here with 8-9 of clubs.
That's all right. I'm biting your
And he's
bait.
heads up and he's out of position. And here we go. About a $250 pot going heads up. 5-4 deuce with a couple of spades. Barry's got the best hand here still with Ace King.
Don't worry.
And you'd imagine his style is to bet at least the pot. And he bets the pot. He bets 250. And he takes it down. That's what I really, really love about Barry Woods' game, Dave. He is definitely not afraid to fire at flops after he is raised pre-flop. I mean, you take a look at the tight passive player, you know when they have it or not, because if they don't have it, they just won't bet into a multi-way pot.
Yeah.
Barry's really not scared about betting into a multi-way pot. And he'll bet on bluffs, too.
You can't play
So you
scared
can't-
in this game.
You can't necessarily put him on a hand.
I like Barry's game. I mean, he obviously needs to work on some stuff, and as he moves up in limits and as he
Right.
tries new things, he's obviously only been playing this game for a little while, and he's got a lot of stuff to learn. But considering how much experience he has, he's very good.
Right.
Lightning over here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The guy is like the best.
I had to wake up here.
Button's going to move over here to seat 9.
Get all the deals be like, right.
Have you made an open challenge that you'll just take on anyone and no one hold him right now?
That wasn't really an open challenge. I mean, it's just a matter of fact that I've been running really well. I mean, I made a great call last night, not to pat myself on the back. Tough game. Actually, Philly it wasn't a tough game, actually, but it was a tough call. Made a good call. And I've just been real focused, you know, when you're zoned in.
Brian opened here with deuce 9 of clubs. It gets us any 2, and Barry's going to call with ace jack. Barry hits top pair here. Brian's got second pair.
And that's what happens sometimes with Brian's game. He just gets so caught up with the fact that he's got to play every hand. He's trying to, like, you know, he's trying to hit the jackpot on every single hand.
I think he bet 125 here.
Excuse
me.
There you go.
He
There you go.
he
Now
bet
you got singled out. There you go.
45, and Barry raised it up to 145. So Brian made a pretty weak bet. Remember, he did that before, and he's going to make the call.
And this is
Wow.
well, he's like a lotto ticket. He's trying to hit something. He doesn't have a diamond in his hand. What does
Turns
that mean?
diamond. Pot is now about $350.
I mean, if the deuce of diamonds were to come out, does he even know if he's any good?
And look at this. Barry's got a check right behind him, and the river is a 4.
Well, let's see if he induces the bluff here. Brian might bluff at this. Now, this is one of those players where you might want to induce a bluff against.
Well, if he checks it one more time to Barry, do you put in a value bet now? Or do you think, are you possibly worried about your kicker? I mean, what did Brian call the flop with?
The thing with Brian is you never know. Brian might have called it with 8-9. You never know.
And look at this. Brian's going to move all in here.
I think Barry might call this.
The pot was $350. We'll get a count. He's moved all in. He's moved all in for $1,300 into a
pot's like-
$350 pot.
Yeah, it's a funny play here. Now, Brian is either making the play of, I am going to try to buy this pot with a gross overbet with nothing, or I'm going to try to make it look like that. You know what I mean? But I really have the nuts.
He almost played it like he had aces here. I mean,
Or a set.
yeah, or
maybe,
set of 9s,
yeah.
set of 8s, something
You know,
like
he has
that.
a set of 8s or set of 9s, and he's hoping that Barry's got a flush.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
But if you're Barry Woods, do you pick your spots a little bit better here?
no, I don't think so. I mean, I
I
think,
think
if you
this is a good spot to put your money.
I think if you play the hand out in your head, I just don't think that Brian's got what he's portraying. You know? I mean, think about it. If he really wants a call, well, then he's got to have a full house and he's got to put Barry on diamonds. Right? Otherwise, if he really wanted a call, why would he bet so much? I just don't buy it. Sorry.
Well, not from Brian.
I don't think from anybody. You got to look at the way his hand is played out.
I'd make this play against Barry with the set. Absolutely. If I thought he had a weak ace and I had a full house here, I'd do this too. I'd try to make it look like I was because it's Barry Woods. But remember, Dave, you and I are so familiar with how these guys play.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you replay the way this hand played out, I just don't think that Brian's got it. Let's get a close-up of Brian's face here. I mean, see what a bluffer looks like. Because he is on a stone-cold bluff. He knows his hand is no good. He knows he has to bet it. He pretty much knows Barry's got an ace.
1440.
He's trying not to do much. $1,440. I think Barry's
That's
going
a
to call
great
this.
shot right there. 1,440. The pot is about 1,800. It's 1,400 to call. And why is it that people try to do this against Barry Woods, Dave? Why? Why do they try against Barry Woods?
I just...
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, the funny thing is, if you made this move against Barry Woods, he might throw it away, thinking that you know that he's not going to throw away hand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody was betting this for value because they really know the show and really know that Barry Woods, you might make this move. But I don't think Brian does.
I mean, let's be honest. Brian's going to flop a set, bet into it. I mean, think about it. Last time Brian flopped a big hand, he bet a small amount. Mo raised him. He re-raised right away, right?
Barry's still getting the massage. Look at his face.
You remember that hand versus Mo, though, when he had ace-king and the flop came out?
He made the call. He made the call, and he's going to take it down there with ace-jack.
Yeah.
Barry Woods, another monster call.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think it was that tough a call. I think it's a no-brainer call. I think Brian was... to me, it was very obvious. I got to be honest with you. I said it right away. I thought Barry was going to make this call. I think if he thought the hand through, I don't think there's any way Brian has got a set there. And if Brian had a flush with a paired board, he's not betting that much.
Why do people continue to try to make that move on Barry Woods? Why would you make that move on Barry Woods? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't understand people that come and play on the show a lot and don't go back and study some of the material that we have on the players.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Well, hey, you know what? If you're not going to put the work in and you're not going to study, it really shows anything. If you're a poker player and you want to get better at your game, read a magazine, read books, and if you're going to play on Live at the Bike, watch the archives. You know, help your game out. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I got to tell you, the hand that Brian was trying to represent just didn't work. And obviously, we're privy to the hands there. It's real easy for us to say, but I said it right away. I thought Barry would make that call, and he did. Good call by Barry. Flop here is King 10-6. We got it four-handed here. Nobody actually seat two here. Garland's got the king. And Brian has got a 10-6. Wow, Brian has got two pair. And you know what? Garland might be in trouble here because it's going to look like Brian is tilting, but Brian actually has bottom two pair. And he's playing $3,200 behind now, which is more than Garland has.
145 here, 7, 8, 9.
And Garland's aware that people try to run him over.
Call.
That would have been a perfect spot for Brian to raise, I really think. I mean, he would have put him on possibly tilting there. Turns a 9 there. It gives Garland more outs there. Garland's got a straight draw as well. He needs a king. He's going to need a king,
That's a bet?
a jack, or a queen, or a 9 to win this pot. And Garland's bet $200 into the pot. Pot is about 500 now. 200 to call. See what Brian does here. Brian's going to put a nice little raise in here. The board is getting scarier and scarier. 2 diamonds and 2 clubs out there. And Brian just smooth calls. Wow, I don't like that play. I mean, I'd really like to put a little more money in that pot. And the pot is 700 now. And the river's a 9, and that is going to kill Brian's hand. Brian now has 3 pair, and obviously 3 pair is no good. Garland's got kings over 9s, and Brian's got 10s over 9s.
Say it, Dave. Counterfeit. Counterfeit. Counterfeit.
Oh, gosh.
Copied hand. You
Well,
know,
that's not actually a complete counterfeit there, to be honest with you, because he still has 10s and 9s.
right.
So his hand is better than the board. But look at that, and the river. Brian, I think it went check there,
Yeah.
and that was the end of it. But Brian played that so slow, trying to trap, and the problem was he had this image, and I don't understand.
And actually, Garland bet and Brian folded there on the end.
And you know what's interesting? I got this email here from Michael Feynman, subject Dave, and he calls me. He goes, "You're a jackass," but he doesn't even know how to spell "your." It's U-R. It's a hypocrisy, but he spells it Y-O-U-R. So
Possessive.
it's really interesting.
You're jackass.
Exactly, you're a jackass. Exactly. I should be the poster boy for don't do drugs.
Brian has got ace queen here in this hand. You know, it's funny. Every time we see somebody move in, I've actually never seen it as a value bet in this show. I've always seen it as a bluff. We saw it last night with Jean Robert or Bobby Ballon. He did it with a big semi-bluff.
Most people with the nuts really want to get called.
Right.
So they throw in there a really calculated bet where they think their opponents might call.
Now look at this Gore. I believe has got ace king.
And you lost. Brian actually lost on the $500, and that was to Garland.
Dion, I'm trying to see who the pre-flop raiser was here. I believe it was Gore with ace king, and the flop comes 10 deuce 4.
And
Gore raised it out of the straddle spot, and Mo's got a pair, and he's going to bet it. It gets checked to Mo. So Gore does not follow up with a bet here when he raised it out of the straddle spot. He got called in multiple places. And Mo has the best hand right now. Now, I'm not saying it would necessarily make that much of a difference here, because Mo might call Barry Woods one time, but I guarantee you, if Barry Woods raised out of the straddle spot there and that flop came, he would fire at it with ace king. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And Mo is going to take it down.
I lay down ace king with the ace of hearts. Only you I laid that down.
After flop, I did.
Anybody else I raised.
And then you missed the hand there. It was so interesting. Brian flops bottom 2 pair, right? Right after the hand where he loses all his money to Barry. So you'd put him on steaming, right? And it's against Garland. And if Brian pushes against Garland, Garland probably thinks that this guy is steaming, and he might even get Garland's money. But Brian plays it so slow. It turns out Brian actually got counterfeited, I guess I was supposed to say, on the river with the 9 there.
$75 raise here by Barry Woods. He's got pocket jacks.
Well, I was really interested. I wasn't sure which Brian we'd see tonight, whether we'd see the tilting, steaming Brian or we'd see the good
I think
player.
we have our answer.
Yeah, definitely do.
George has called Barry here with 4-5 off suit, and I think George is playing the player in position. If he hits 2 pair and it's a ragged board, could Barry get away from the overpair? Here we go. 3-way action. Brian's called with 3-5 off suit out of position. Ace, deuce, queen. Well, George and Brian both have gut shots.
See? Close.
But Barry has the best hand here, but he's facing 2 overcards here with jacks. He's going to check. And the funny thing is, if you're George, do you think that Barry might be slow playing something? Because he normally will fire out here unless he flopped a monster. But George is going to bet. He's going to use his position and he's going to bet. He's going to bet 325. Brian's not going to chase the straight. And this is a great bet by George. Barry says I got pocket queen, so that would make him a set. And there it is. George uses his position and takes it down there with the semi-bluff. Nice play there by George. And George, again, for people that might not be necessarily familiar with this show, he's one of the tightest players on the table. I wouldn't necessarily pick him to mix it up with. There he is. The Greek poker god, although he's from North London. Figure that one out.
They asked me what's the best time to bluff. And I say, the best time to bluff.
Button's got seat 4. Ace queen here for Barry Woods. And seat 7, he's going to raise it up here again.
It's been raised to 45.
He's going to make it 45 to go.
When I bluff, then they show that picture.
Seat 8 is going to call here.
Okay. They're going to show those kind of things. From Monday. Yes, from Monday.
George is going to call with a suited ace.
You have a pocket, George.
And Dion's going to call with 7-4 off suit.
It's only one that I raised.
That's true. That is true. I'm sorry about that.
5 players.
And here we go. 5-way action. It's about a $200 pot. Look at this. Philly Al's flopped a straight, and Brian's got top 2 pair, and Barry's got ace queen. George has the nut flush draw. Huge hands here.
This is the big one here. Now, you know what? I think Barry might get saved by all the action.
Barry is going to bet here 250, a little over the size of the pot. The pot's very connected.
Yeah, and Philly Al cannot slow play this too much, and he's not
And
going
he's going to raise.
Good raise there by Philly Al.
He's going to make it 600. George has got the nut flush draw over there. I think he's going to get saved.
I don't
Action's
know.
going to go over to Brian, and what's Brian going to do? He checked top 2 pair from up front.
You wonder now. I mean, you remember you got 1-2 players in there. You wonder if both these players have like Queen 10 or Queen 9 or something like that. You got to go. Well, maybe
The pot is $1,000 now. It's $600 for
Yeah.
George to call.
Well, George has got to realize that at best he's probably only got 9 outs. He's got to know that his ace, obviously, is probably no good.
He's going to get rid of it there,
Yeah.
Dave. He's going to get rid of it.
What's
And what is Brian going to do? And he's got a lot of chips there.
And I was going to say, this might save. This might actually save Barry, because Brian might come over the top even more.
If Brian calls the bet and the raise, what do you do with the black ace queen? You just not get involved here?
Well, it's only 250 more, I think, right?
Well, it's actually 350 more. I mean, it's 650.
350. If Brian smooth calls, you might smooth call as well. But if Brian comes over the top, then it's an easy muck. You might want to see one more. I mean, obviously, you're not sure what this guy has either.
Well, you don't know what you're looking for if you try to see one more, right?
No, you're not exactly sure, but you can see what the guy's has.
And look at this. Brian makes a lay down there with queen 10. Wow.
And I got to tell you, Philly Al, and it's 350 more, and Philly Al raising that early with that many players, that generally shows strength, a lot of strength.
Let's see what the action's back over to Barry now.
I mean, think about it. It's a raised pot, and Barry's come out and bet 250, and you've raised it up to 600 with 4 players behind you. Man, he's got to have a big hand. He might even have king jack. Who knows?
I think Philly Al might only have about 500 left here, unless he's got a big chip behind him. He's pretty much. Oh, he does have a $1,000 chip, dude. Look at this.
And Barry's going to lay it down. This is a great laydown.
Wow. And Philly Al's not going to get any action.
I got to tell you, I love that play by Barry. Threw out a nice $250 bet.
Yeah.
Got a pot-sized bet. See where he's at. He found out and he threw it away.
Well, that's why I said even if Brian calls, I know you said, well, you might. It's only 350. Can you take one off? Boy, it's scary because you just don't know what you're looking for. I mean,
I think you and I fold that. I just thought Barry might have called.
Yeah.
I was surprised. To be honest with you, Barry surprised me there. It's a great play to lay that down. I didn't think he would.
Right. Button's going to move over to seat 5, and Mo's got pocket kings in seat 1.
There we go.
And Gore's got a king jack on the button. Let's see how he's going to play it when Mo raises.
Yeah, it's offsuit. King jack offsuit is one of my least favorite no limit hands.
Mo raises it up to 45.
Unless somehow you can predict last flop.
Dion calls, and Gore's going to call.
Once again, if you have any questions for us, please email us at live@thebike.com. We really do appreciate it.
We see a flop 4 ways here, about $165 pot, 10-4-7. Dion's got middle pair.
Yep.
Mo's got the over pair.
Pot is about 150, right?
Yep.
So Mo's going to throw out a nice 150.
He's going to bet 125.
Yeah,
Dion's not going to get involved, and I'm sure Gore's not going to get involved as well.
Now, this is interesting here. I was talking about how different professional poker players talk about different things, and everybody has their own view on what's right and what's wrong.
Well, Gore hasn't. I mean, we're assuming that Gore's going to fold here.
Is he making a move here? Okay, well, I'll hold up on my...
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going. Okay. And the same exact Card Player magazine, with the one with Evelyn Ng on it, on page 96, Barry Tannenbaum talks about playing the blinds in Limit Hold'em. And I quote Barry Tannenbaum, "You cannot make money by playing a mediocre hand from out of position against a good player with a better hand."
Right.
Okay. Then Matt Matros, 24 pages later in the same magazine, talks also in the strategies analysis, he talks about defending the blinds, and he even says, if I've got a hand with just a touch of high card strength, just such as Jack 6 or Queen 5, I'll call a button raise.
Well, I mean,
and that just shows you, there is no definitive answer. To me, I definitely lean toward the Barry side, Barry Tannenbaum school of thought.
Yeah.
Matt Matros also talks about here, I want to quote this also, because that doesn't make any sense to me. He says, often in no-limit hold'em, all the decisions are made pre-flop. And a lot of those decisions aren't very interesting. And I think it's completely opposite.
Yeah, I think Limit is definitely more of a pre-flop game.
To me, Limit Hold'em is like a mechanical, very much of pre-flop selection.
Garland's got pocket kings here. He raises, and he's not going to get any action there.
Maybe these guys are paying attention to Garland.
Would you give him any action?
Garland?
Yeah.
I'd only give him action because I know I can get him off a hand.
Yeah.
He's a pretty passive player, and if an ace were to fall, even if ace doesn't, even if I have like 10-9 and an ace falls, I know he'll probably play it scared.
Right.
But it's weird he would say that, because, I mean, to me, it's complete opposite. Limit hold'em to me is very much a pre-flop hand selection, and it's a very mechanical game. Now, I happen to think you can make moves in limit hold'em, but it still is more of a pre-flop game, while I think no limit hold'em is very much of a post-flop game.
Right. Bad players.
But hey, who am I?
Look at this. Russ McGinley says on 2+2, breaking news, bluffing Barry is a great way to rid yourself of cumbersome poker chips. That's true.
Yeah.
Anytime
Yeah.
you whoop your ass like a girl, it's a highlight.
And Brian is going to open raise here. He's got ace deuce suited. Going to make it 65 to go.
You know, it's funny, there was a day where I actually said Brian was a really good player, and I swear he used to be good. I swear.
There you go.
Maybe I just thought he was good.
Dion's going to call here with Jack 8.
Out of position, wow.
Wow, and he flops a straight. 10-9-7, and he checks it from up front. Let's see what Brian's going to do. Pot's about 130. He's going to bet $300 into a $130 pot.
Why so much?
And now when Dion calls the 300, geez, what do you think he's got? Turns
Well, you
to
don't,
king.
you don't necessarily need to think it's straight. Brian's drawing dead, by the way.
You know, you don't necessarily need to see him straight, but boy, he's got to have something big. Probably, I mean, he called it immediately, Dave. He didn't even think twice.
Yeah. I just don't. Why are you betting 300 to win 130?
Well, the pot's now 750, and he's going back for more.
Oh God.
1,100.
He's going to bet 1,100. It's an $1,850 pot. Dion has the nuts. Well, Dion, excuse me, nuts would be Queen Jack. He's got the second nuts, and he's going to move all in.
Well, at this point, he's got to think Brian might have a set or aces. You know.
And I think that probably Brian might just cover him with the. I don't think there's any more chips there.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Even if it's only $50 more, can you call?
11.
He's drawing dead.
He's got it covered. He's drawing dead. Pot's over $2,500, and Dion has the winner right now.
Muck it. Muck it. Do I have to show?
To me.
And Brian just mucks his hand.
Yeah, we're going to see it anyway.
You're going to give me the pot?
And the river was an 8 there. Not a great card for Dion, but it wouldn't have made a difference.
Well, Mo said, well, did you have Queen Jack? I don't think that Dion calls a $300 bet that quickly with Queen Jack on the flop. He really needed to hit that flop huge.
Yeah, I mean, $300. Wow. Queen
yeah.
Jack he might have raised.
Yeah.
Interesting little thing here. I'm looking at the 2+2 post here. Baron Vanger talking about the call that Barry made. He says, I'm not sure it's quite as obvious as I said. He said many would make a smart laydown. To me, I just thought the way the hand played out, and if you play it backwards,
Yep.
you know, and you kind of, you know, we saw the end of the movie, I guess, and if you kind of try to piece it together and see if it makes sense, I just don't think a set there makes sense. I don't think a full house for Brian makes that sense.
Yesterday, here.
Really?
Yeah. Check.
It's much more likely that he missed some sort of draw.
I checked and I'm waiting for him to show his hand. Like I have a hand. He just goes.
I mean, I guess Brian just he subscribes to the theory of I'm going to overbet everything.
Look at that.
I mean, the only benefit of that, I guess, is later on when he makes a big hand and he overbets it,
Right.
somebody's going to pay him off.
Had to get in the super too.
Because I was scared.
Hopefully by that time for him, he'll have some money left, though.
Cards back or something. I was just like,
Ace 9-8 there, 3 hearts. Nobody has an ace here. 2 players have 8s. And Al's got bottom pair with the queen of hearts, and he's going to bet it on the button. Good bet by him.
but he called me
I
on
don't
the
think
flop.
anybody can call this either.
Ace, King, 9.
And Philly Al's going to take it down. Nice play by Philly there.
Some shit like that, yeah.
You ever been to Philadelphia?
I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that? Just a New York boy?
Yeah, but I used to go to Atlantic City a lot.
You ever
and
been
stuff.
in the old Veterans Stadium?
I've never been to the old Veterans Stadium, no.
No. Well, you're not going to get a chance now.
No. Probably not. I've been in the old Spectrum, though,
Oh.
where the Flyers play. I actually went
76ers game?
I know. I went for a Flyers Islanders playoff game.
Oh, you're an Islanders fan?
I was like 14 years old or 15 years old, and I remember getting harassed, you know? And I think about it now, I'm like, how could these guys harass like a 14-year-old kid? I'm going, come on.
One guy called.
Yeah, I was there with my aunt. It was actually, I think I was like 14 years old, and there was a party afterwards, and it was when I had my first beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You check.
Well, flop comes out here.
Oh,
King,
He said, I missed it.
6-10.
You open your hand.
Garland's going to bet here with 8, 10, 25.
Oh, I love Garland's really starting to play a little
But
bit.
look at this. Gore's going to call with a gut shot. He's got backdoor clubs.
The thing is, though, if Gore hits it, he's not going to make any money anyway.
Turns another king. You would think that Garland probably thinks his hand's good still.
Yeah, he's going to put a weak bet out there, though. And he takes it down.
I'm saying he checked it. He had the straight because he didn't know he had the straight. And
Yeah,
so
I mean,
missed it.
back in the day, in the early Live the Bike days, Gore and Jonas were staples on this show.
Yeah.
And that was only the biggest game we had was 5-10.
Yeah, this game right here was the biggest game. And right now, this is obviously, we usually have 2 of these games every single night. And we usually have 2 of these games going, 1 10-20 game going. And obviously on Wednesdays, we've got a 50-100 game going.
Right. And they almost had a feeder 25-50 into that 50-100 game last night.
Yeah, there were a couple times we tried to convert it to 25-50. But there were a couple players in the game that only wanted to play 10-20, so they decided to keep it.
Buttons over there to Mo. He's got deuce 3 of hearts, little suited connector.
He might raise this up. I think he's going to raise it up.
It looks like he's going to make it $40.
Yeah, well, you know what, he's
Two,
playing the
two
players.
tight people in the blind.
Exactly.
Garland immediately folds Jack 10 off suit.
And some people are so adamant about defending their blinds, and it's like, who cares? You want to steal my blind, go ahead. I don't mind.
Yep.
With Queen 7, I'm not going to defend.
And George is out of there.
At one point, there was 40,000.
I mean, there are times I'm going to defend my blind, obviously, if I have a big hand, or even a decent hand, some sort of suited connector or connector. But Queen 7 offsuit.
Right. Not much inherent.
Now, leave your ego at the door.
Yeah.
Actually, Joe Seebach, Barry Greenstein's son, had a great article in this issue of Card Player magazine talking about leaving your ego at the door.
Well, we got a straddle here, but we're going to take a look at the chip count. Well, Barry's got 9,500. Mo in there with about 4,800. And the rest of the people right around 3,000 there, Dave. And Brian, he's lost a lot tonight. Down to 1,100 in seat 6.
And that's his second, his second rebuy. So I mean, he's probably down close to $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
Most of that money is in Barry's hands.
Take your girly ass down.
And I think once again, Barry Woods is the big winner so far.
Most likely.
God, it's like amazing.
4-way action here.
5 players.
5-way action. There we go. 3-4-4 here, and Gore's got trip 4s. He's in the blind. Actually, he was in the straddle spot, Dave. It's a $100 pot. He had straddled. He's going to bet right out with trip 4s.
Yeah, why not?
No one else has anything here.
55.
He bets 55 into about a $100 pot.
A pretty easy laydown for everybody, I think.
Well, the action's on Garland. He's going to lay it down. George Georgian's out of there. And back in the day.
Yes.
And actually, you know what? Did Barry call over there in seat 7? Barry called. Is Barry setting up a move here? We're heads up. We got a $200 pot. Oops. Here we go to the turn. Turn is an 8. Remember way back when, Dave, when Barry Woods bluffed or made a call against Gore with pocket 7s against ace 4 on a paired board.
How you doing?
Let's see how Gore's going to play this. Will Gore get a little bit of revenge here?
Action out.
That was on our old highlight reel. Barry's called Gore with ace 6.
I don't think he's going to call anymore, though. I think he was calling with hoping to pick up some sort of a draw here.
Gore's going to bet 250
He's
now.
got nothing now. I mean, he's got no draw.
5 weeks now.
He's officially drawing dead now.
I would say 5 years, man.
Yeah, I mean, if the 7 of spades were to pop off there, maybe he takes one off.
He wanted, and I said,
You know, then maybe he's in there again.
Right.
River
And,
would have brought a king of hearts.
You know, back in the day, Mo really used to play a lot looser, Dave. Kind of loose aggressive. And now he's really tended to tighten it up a bit.
Now he's more, now he's tight aggressive.
ABC.
Well, he doesn't play that many hands, and the hands he plays hard.
Yeah.
heads up.
Heads up. You want to play me heads up? He would like have a boat with that.
And we had an email here from Dan Larson. Says, just say Merry Christmas to my friends from PokerNet.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
7 and 9.
Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. What else is coming up? Kwanzaa. All of them.
Yep.
Great time of year.
Limped around here.
Yeah. And it looks like it is going to be 6-handed. Limped around, we got a $60 pot to the flop.
There we go.
A lot of Broadway out there. And there's a Jack 10 out there. Wow.
Jack 10 deuce. Now
Yeah.
Philly Al's got Queen Jack. Barry's got King Queen. Open-ended, overcards.
Yeah, that's not
and,
a bad flop for King Queen, because especially if it's a rainbow board, if you hit your hand, you know it's good.
Dion's going to bet 50 here with ace 10. Let's see what Barry's going to do.
How did Garland didn't raise in late position with nines?
Barry makes it 150, and what is Al going to do? Al quickly just calls with the Queen Jack. And now Dion probably should get out of there. Well, it's only, I guess it's 100 more.
You can kind of see Philly Al's game there. He calls when he has a pair or
Yeah.
nothing else, but if he has a real hand, he'll raise.
Turns at 3, and Philly Al's hand is still good here. It's about a $550 pot. Barry's going to bet again.
Dion's in there. Dion's almost drawing dead here. I mean, Dion, if an ace were to come, it gives Barry the straight.
Look at this. Barry bets 375, and Al folds.
Oh,
And
wow.
Barry's going to take it down there with aggressive play. The rabbit cam showed a jack. Philly Al would have made trip jacks. And look at this. Barry shows the king queen.
Yeah, you know what's interesting here? I'm just not sure Philly Al. Barry comes out and bets right away. Why not
Well, he
throw a
raises.
little raise in there?
Well, Dion actually bet and Barry raised, and Philly just called.
Why didn't Philly bet then?
That's a value bet. Saved you guys some money.
Dion bet, Barry raised, and then Philly just called. And then on
Oh.
the turn, it got checked, and Barry bet again
Okay.
big, and then Philly released the
I
hand.
mean, I guess my thought though is if your hand is good enough to call, why not raise it up, see where you're at?
Yep.
He called that Armenian kid with like a
Take control of the hands.
Remember that shit, Barry?
Obviously, it's easy for us. We're here and we're privy to the cards.
Right.
Just throwing out another way to play the hands.
Who went all in? Yeah.
What are you doing?
And I got the flush?
What's that?
What are you doing?
The button is in seat 4 here.
The button?
Yeah.
Oh. 10-9 suited and seat 9 for Josh.
Limped around.
Always has a good read.
Queen came to 4 with a couple of diamonds.
Well, everybody's missed here. Gore's got the best hand with Jack high.
He's going to bet 35, and he's going to take it down.
Take it down. Oh, man.
I'm actually trying to set up a little get-together after the show.
Are you?
Yeah.
With,
Me and another person.
that would be a get-together. A girly friend?
Yes.
Really?
Button's going to move over here to Gore in seat 5.
What's her name?
We'll get into that a little later on.
Is she Asian?
No, she's not.
She's not Asian?
No.
Oh, doesn't she know she has no chance then?
And I got the big one. There's no end to my generosity.
Well, ace rag over here for Garland in seat 2.
Pocket fives for seat 3 there, George.
King Queen offsuit in seat 4. Limp here by Mo. He's got 9-10 offsuit.
Hi, Doctor.
Never mind.
Going well. How are you?
Oh, look.
110.
Wow, guys.
What's happening? You
If this night wasn't exciting already, look who we've got in the house.
C3 is going to raise here. George has got pocket fives. He makes it 85 to go.
What happened to this?
And look at that. Get Dion calling with what could be a real problem hand. $85 he called.
Did he call or did he re-raise? Dion
He just
in C4.
called.
Yeah, okay.
$85. I mean, the blinds are only 5-10, folks.
Well, he's hit a king, but let's see if George bets. Is Dion going to get involved?
See if George does a little continuation, but if he does, you can probably take this one down.
You guys are close. I haven't been close once.
Pot is
Obviously easy for us to say. We know what they have.
$185 pot.
Oh, yeah, 10, 9, 7. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, almost. You guys always get it suited.
George is going to bet here.
2.25.
225. Over
I gotta-
the size of the pot.
And I got to tell you, I just don't understand calling King Queen offsuit $75 or $85 cold. You know, the blinds are 5-10. I know you have position on a guy.
There he
but
goes. He folds it, Dave.
What are you looking to hit?
Right. Well, I guess if he just hit a lone king and maybe that scare card wasn't up there.
Right, if he hits a lone king, you know, George is going to bet,
Yeah.
you're going to raise, the hand's going to be over, and you're not going to win anything.
John Longo from the San Antonio Poker Club's emailed us, Dave. He says, I want to say, hi, the San Antonio Poker Club is tuned in and loving it. Is that legal in San Antonio? Hopefully.
So what, to listen to this?
Well,
Or to play?
cards. Play cards.
It's just a poker club. They just listen to us.
Oh.
Who
They
knows
get
if they
together
even-
and listen to us.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the button's going to move over here to seat 6.
Appreciate the emails, folks. You can email us at live@thebike.com. You can also follow a live thread on 2plus2.com. Go to forums, go to World Poker Tour and other events, and log into the Live at the Bike thread for December 22nd.
Right.
The last show of 05.
Check. Hasn't hit me
Queen
yet.
10-5 here. It's a rainbow board. Seat 5's going to bet 15 here. Pocket
Yeah, that's
threes.
actually the queen of spades.
And it's the queen of spades out there, so Barry calls with ace-7. He does not have a club draw.
Well, maybe he sees the same thing we see.
Maybe he thinks the queen's a club.
Right.
Turns a 9. He does not pick up a draw.
Happy five.
Barry checks. And Gore checks right behind him. And the river's a 7, and Barry makes the best hand.
Yeah, I imagine he's going to check and hope he gets checked down.
Okay, fellas, what do we got here?
Yeah, I don't think Gore's ever going to try to bluff Barry again.
And let's see if Gore's. How did he call with that? Ace-7.
Yeah, if anybody's privy to the old school live
Right,
like
right.
one of our most famous hands is actually Gore trying to bluff Barry out.
Right.
And Barry called him. I mean, the board was like Queen 4-4, right?
Queen 4-4, and Gore was making a move with an ace something, trying to represent the 4. He check raised Barry all in for several $1,000s on the turn, and Barry called with pocket 7s.
Yeah.
That was the first of many big calls that we've seen Barry Woods make here, all in.
Yeah, and
on
I don't
this
think
show.
Gore will ever try to bluff Barry again.
Right, right.
And you know, there is some value to having that image,
Right.
knowing that players will not try to bluff me. Although people still try.
He said, as long as
Amazing.
Barry's here with $5,000, how can
Yeah,
I...
so far he hasn't gotten any of mine, but I've gotten his. So how does that work?
$75 raise here.
Dion's got king, queen off suit.
Somehow it works. I don't know.
Gore's going to call with 6s here.
Yep.
Sit by the fireplace.
Hey, we like Barry's for our home game.
Hey, he's pretty funny for a white guy, though. I gotta admit. Great.
Heads up.
6s against queen jack.
Oh, Queen Jack. I thought it was King Queen.
What your mama thinks.
Jack 7 deuce. And Dion's hit jack.
You know I'm going to see you in the parking lot once you open up everything about tomorrow.
And he's just going to bet straight out. I imagine
125. Well, let's see how
Gore's
Gore's
got
gonna
position
play it.
on this guy, but you know what?
Would the guy make a continuation bet like
Well, there are certain cards. If you put the guy on big cards, Jack is one of those that's kind of scary because people like to play those jacks.
He looks like one of those guys from the commercials, the hair club for men. They come out of the swimming pool. It doesn't
Oh,
even do
Gore's
anything.
making fun of Barry over there, I think. So he looks like one of the guys that comes out of the commercials for Hair Club for the Men.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe that's where Barry's made his money.
Buttons over there in seat 8.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 5 and 10.
Yeah, she pretty much watches me at home while I'm playing.
Oh,
You know, it's
well,
not too-
shout out to Barry Woods' wife then.
Well, there you go.
She's watching.
You know, it's not
And
too
his
late.
daughter, Erin.
That's great.
It's not too late to get the archives actually for Christmas. You know,
That's right.
if you're still looking for that last-minute present for your, favorite friend or nephew or niece or whatever, you can get the archives still for just $14.95.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go to liveatthebike.com, click on them, and you get access to every single show we've ever had.
We got a $75 raise here by Gore with 8-9 of diamonds. Philly Al's going to call with 6-8 of clubs on the button. George has got a queen jack off suit. He's out of position. I'd be surprised to see him call here. He's going to put the money in. And Dion's in there with queen 10 of spades. So Gore's the pre-flop raiser. Here we go. 4 ways, $300 pot.
Concentrate on winning it.
King 9-7. Gore's got middle pair.
Hope that works out for you.
No one has a king here. And Gore's got the best hand. And did he check it over to Al? Wow.
And Al's going to bet. Wow,
He's
that's
open-ended.
$160.
Well,
He's open-ended with the backdoor flush draw.
Pot's 160. The pot was 300. He bet 160.
That's a pretty small bet then.
I just can't believe that Gore, maybe didn't bet there with a piece there on the flop. Pretty much in position. Got one guy behind him.
Yeah. Maybe he figured Al wouldn't bet unless he actually had something. A lot of these players don't bet unless they have something, some sort of piece of it.
Action's back over to George here.
What does George have?
Well, George
got
got
a
a
gut
gut
shot?
shot to the 10. And Dion also has a gut shot to the jack.
Well, it's interesting if George actually calls here. The 10 would bring Al and George both the straight. But obviously George's straight would be higher.
Right. And Dion's going to call.
He's calling?
And Gore gets away from it.
Now, Dion actually is, I want to say Dion has a, no, he doesn't. I'm trying to think, he's just got a gut shot, right?
Yep, needs a jack.
Backdoor flush draw?
Well, the turn's a queen, and that's good right now for him.
Yeah, but Philly Allen's got a flush draw and a straight draw now.
For sure.
Pot's now about 700, and
that's-
Al's going to bet
300.
300. He's going to bet 300 here into a $700 pot.
What was Dion calling for? And now he's got himself in a position where he doesn't know if he's any good.
Well, he's going to call, and now it's a $1,000 pot. Here we go to the turn, the river, and the river is a 9, and queen 10 is good.
Problem is, though, is now, you know,
Is Al going to have to fire at it again? It's a $1,000 pot. How much is he going to bet?
That's not enough. I don't. Well, maybe it is.
You bet 600. I think it might be. Let's see what Dion
Yeah, that
does.
is a big bet, actually.
600 into a $1,000 pot.
Well, the problem is the river's now paired to 9. Dion can't beat a 9. He can't beat a
There
king
it is.
anymore. All he can beat is pretty much a draw. And there wasn't much of a draw on the board on the flop in the first place. Only 6-8, pretty much.
Yeah. And Al takes it down.
I mean, if you start thinking of the hands that Philly Al might have bet on the flop there, the only hand you can beat is a pure bluff or maybe like the misdraw of 6-8.
Right.
Um,
Which is what he had, but again, not a lot the queen 10 can
and
make.
you know what? One mistake beget another mistake beget another mistake. You think about it. He calls with queen 10. He has nothing. Then he picks up a queen. He checks it, and he ends up calling $300 his second pair.
Right.
And then he throws away the best hand because he has no idea where he's at.
8, 9 diamonds. Him. I don't care what you had.
If you had 8.
There he is. Good look at Philly Al.
Former professional baseball player.
Right.
Retired with a career batting average over 300. I think it was 333, actually.
Yeah.
Most guys with a batting average that high go to the Hall of Fame, you know.
He just got shot. He's going to be flushed off.
We get them all here. I mean, between Mr. Jennifer Tilly, Phil Locke, Doyle Brunson, Kathy Liebert, Hassan Habib, you know, professional baseball players. Bill Lambier was in the bike the other day.
Dave, I want to say Merry Christmas to my friend Casey. Hello, Casey.
That's right, man.
Raise, make it 45.
I'm always interested when somebody says, I want to say Merry Christmas to somebody. Well, just say it.
Merry Christmas, Casey.
There you go.
Let me see how much I said.
Get a raise here from Brian.
Oh, hey, don't matter.
And Brian's got a big old jack deuce of diamonds.
Yep, and Garland's just going to smooth call with pocket 9s. Gore's in there with King Jack. George's got a suited connector.
I mean,
And here we go, $200 pot, Ace, King, 3. Well, Brian fires here. If you're going to raise with rags and scare cards come out, wouldn't you bet?
yeah, but at this point, does Brian have any credibility?
No, he's not going to bet.
You know what I mean? I don't mind raising with rags if
And
you
look at this, Garland hits a set of 9s on the turn.
good for him.
4 or 5 of hearts is still in the hand
And I
here.
think Gore
C3.
might throw some money in the pot. Nope, Garland's going to do it right away. And you wonder here,
150.
He's going to bet 150 into a $200 pot. George has got a flush draw.
yeah, does Gore now think that his King Jack is good, though?
Look at this. George has a flush draw and a wheel draw, a heart or a deuce.
Yeah, he's
Would
got
make his hand.
he's obviously got 9 hearts and 3 deuces, 12 outs. But obviously the King of Hearts and the Ace of Hearts would be no good.
Now, it's interesting. Might you think with this big of a draw, George might raise a loose, aggressive guy like a Corporation Mike that might just be betting because nobody bet the flop. But it's Garland.
Yeah, well, I don't mind raising Garland here. I mean, obviously we're privy to the fact that he has 9s, but Garland could be betting a King here. And if you raise Garland and he only has a King, he'll probably throw it away.
Well, he's just going to call. Pot's now $600, and here we go to the river. George needs a deuce or a heart. It would be heartbreak if it's an offsuit deuce, and it's an offsuit deuce. I called it. Oh, wow.
Wow, and that is the worst card in the deck for Garland. He won't be able to see this one,
Oh,
and he
my.
might go broke.
That's an amazing card.
And you know what?
And did Garland check the river?
Yeah, and George has the absolute nuts.
He laid down. I don't want to see the turn that either.
George checked the river, Dave. We got into this discussion with a hand that I had against Mr. Kim last week with a bottom set here, and a card came on the river. He's bet 400, and Garland check raised all in. And George called, and Garland's going to go broke here with this hand. Garland check raised George all in. And Garland's going to go broke there with $1,700, and you just got to feel bad for him. That is unbelievable. An offsuit deuce on the river.
Yeah, the absolute best card you
Wow.
can get because you don't really see it.
Yeah.
You don't sit there and go, wait a second, this guy's not calling you at 4-5, is he? There's no. You're thinking that, well, if he had a flush draw, he didn't get there. If he had, like, maybe he got, king 9 or something, or king deuce, or king 3, he has 2 pair, I've got that beat. I mean, let's be honest. He had, I want to say that Garland had the 4th nut hand. Obviously, 4-5 was the nuts. Pocket ace was the 2nd nut. King's the 3rd nut. 9s was the 4th nut hand.
That's just unbelievable. Like I said, I had this discussion with Garland and some people about a hand I had with Mr. Kim last Friday, Dave, where I had a set and I lost it on the river. What do you do on the river when you think something might have been made? But that was so backdoor. I mean, that's so hidden. If it was a heart, Garland might have played it more passively. He might have thrown a little bet out there, and if George raised him, actually might have gotten rid of the hand.
Yeah.
But an offsuit deuce, that's the absolute worst thing that he could have seen there.
And I got to be honest with you. If you started thinking about the nuts and that kind of hand, you go, okay, there's no way George has got aces or kings. It's not the way he's played that hand, right? So you go, okay, 9s are pretty much the 2nd nut over 4-5. Oh, and Garland's going to rebuy there, and that's just, man, what a terrible card on the river for him. Obviously a great card on the river for George there. And he wins about, I want to say, about a $4,000 pot there.
That's unbelievable. I just don't see how you can't go broke with that hand. I mean, you'd have to put the guy specifically, a real tight guy, like on 4 or 5 of hearts, because nobody bet the flop.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously what you have to do if you really want to be a great no-limit hold'em player. You have to start putting your opponents on specific hands.
Right.
And think each hand through. Garland, if there was any error Garland made, and I don't want to say that he made an error, because obviously I might have lost all my money in that hand too.
Right.
But if there's anything that he did he moved all in a little too quick. Why not take your time there? Think about it. Think about what this guy might be betting. What did he call me with? I don't know if that even went into Garland's head.
Not that it would have made a difference, but you're just saying.
No, it might not have at all. But you still want to get in the habit of taking your time with making decisions.
Yeah. Wow, Al's going to put a bluff bet in here.
Because remember, it is George calling a $150 bet on the turn. What
Right.
does George have? Why is George calling me?
Right.
What did George pick up? I got set of 9s.
Good in, George.
Oh, man, wow.
Now, Brian's open-ended here. Al's made a bluff bet with ace high. And Brian's going to call. Pot's now about $400. Turn is a 10 of diamonds.
Brian's hand gets stronger here. He has the only diamond in his hand. Al's got nothing.
See if Al's going to fire again. No, he's checks right behind Brian. The river's a king, and ace high is good. Is Brian going to fire here? He has to if he wants to win, right? Al has absolutely nothing. If Brian bets, he's going to win.
He is, but sometimes Brian's got to realize it. And this bluff's going to work. Obviously, I don't think Al's going to call with ace high. But sometimes Brian's got to give up and go, you know what? I'm not going to win every single pot I play.
Brian bets 300 here. Email here from Carminum G. Carminum G at AOL.com. Carminum G.
Yeah, you're right. You got it. Okay.
AOL.com. What are the chip values? Well, the yellow chips are $5 chips, the white chips are $100 chips, and the purples are $25 chips. You see a big gray there over there in Barry Greenstein's stack to the immediate right, seat 7. Well, the purples are 20. There we go.
There we go.
$1,000 chips there. Yellows are 5s, whites are 100s, purples are 25s. So you see actually a light purple. It's a $5,000 chip.
I apologize for our camera work today. We've got the alcoholic eggnog flowing freely.
You better shut up or we're not going to have any more camera work tonight.
James.
He muted us.
I think he just muted me. I think you were fine. The power of the man. You never screw with the technical guy.
Right.
If he is here, I can.
They have the ultimate power. It's like never getting mad at the chef, you know?
Doctor. With the hat,
Pot's limp.
Obviously, we take a lot of pride in our show here. We have a very limited staff, but we think our technical staff does a wonderful job.
Right.
He's not here. I give it to him.
Pot looks
Especially
like it's limped
considering the
around.
show's live. That's the amazing thing. Some people are talking and go, well, why is the production value? Why does it look better on World Poker Tour? I go, well, they have 6 months in post-production.
Right.
And they've got about 200 people working on their
Well, how
staff.
much did Garland rebuy for? Because he's flopped trip aces, but Barry's got a flush draw. Garland's 1,000 behind in seat 2.
Yeah.
He's going to bet 50 here. And if a club, and look at this, Brian's on a flush draw too, seat 6. Well, this would be some justice if the 9 of clubs came here from Garland, huh, on the turn.
Yeah.
Brian calls.
Barry's going to call.
Yep. Very dangerous to go after these flushes with paired boards.
Yep. Not many outs there, since they share them.
Turns a deuce. Brian's got a pair now.
It's Garland betting. I mean, Garland's got minimum a jack here, right? Minimum jack.
Garland bets again. He bets 200. Yeah, he says these guys aren't going to get in there and chase it.
Well, $50 on the flop. They figured, I'll take one off, $50.
Yeah.
200, no, thanks. And the river would have been a 9. He would have filled up. Not the 9 of clubs.
No,
but
not
the 9
9
of
of spades. Yeah, that was just really, really bad luck for Garland there.
Yeah.
Offsuit.
It's always funny, too. You ever sit at a table and somebody comes over and, they start a new game and the guy brings the chips to you and they go, well, good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, isn't good luck to one person, bad luck to somebody else? Obviously the deuce of spades, terrible, terrible luck for Garland. But great luck for George.
Look at this post here by Sickfish71. He says, damn, Chuck, you sound a little cranked up there, buddy. Give the Bart man a break. He's back on the Red Bull. What is he having here?
I told you before, I'm like the poster boy for don't do drugs.
But you are like the actually most like straight edge person I've ever met in my life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm pretty straight laced. There was that one trip to Jamaica, but hey.
One time, right?
Yeah.
Negril?
Huh?
Negril?
No, we were actually in.
Montego Bay?
I went to Ocho Rios. I
Ever
highly
been
recommend the Jamaica Inn.
Ever been to
There. Unbelievable.
Ever been to
place.
the Bahamas?
I have been to the Bahamas.
Yeah. Like Treasure Island?
Yeah, I went down there as a kid. I mean, recently, though, the last, 3 or 4 years, I've been to Costa Rica, which was fantastic. Jamaica, which is just, oh, man, I mean, these places are great. I'll tell you one thing about life. Some people, everybody spends money on different things. To me, seeing the world and traveling and seeing different cultures is, I don't think there's any better way to spend your money.
George is going to raise here.
It's 65.
He's going to make it 65 to go. Pocket deuces.
Oh, Brian's got a real hand this time, though. He's got kings.
Let's see how he's going to play it. Well, might he want to play it slow here? It looks like Barry's already about to fold his hand. I mean, that's a tell that you might be able to pick up on, right?
Well, that's a great tell, because you know what?
Oh, he's going to re-raise, though.
If I know Barry's going to fold,
you could
I might just smooth call.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Sometimes there's little things you can pick up on. Be aware and focus on the table, and you can smooth call that and try to trap, and then you can automatically check the flop and then check raise, obviously, because you know George is going to fire once heads up.
Well, he's re-raised here.
Now, this is the question. I don't know if Brian has enough money. George has got plenty of money to see a flop with deuces. But if
Brian only has maybe 600 or 700 left.
Well, in that case, it's an easy fold for George.
Because even if Brian's doing this with Jack 4 offsuit, you never know where you're going to be at.
Exactly. Unless you hit your set, you're not going to make any money.
George says, I don't believe you. Well, he's made the wrong read.
Well, the problem is, even, like you said, even if you don't believe him,
right,
and he's making a move with Jack 9, well, then what do you do on the flop when he bets $400?
Yeah. There will be no Garland on the tree this year. Sniff, sniff.
You had pocket deuces. I won't play poker for the rest of my life.
Button's going to move over there to Brian in seat 6. We got a little over a half an hour left in the show. I actually, in January, right before I started working here, Dave, I was on Hollywood Squares, and I won a trip, a cruise on a sailboat called the Yankee Clipper, sailboat trip. And it was to the Southern Caribbean, Grenada, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that was amazing. Just all those island countries. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, travel is really...
We're really established, all those countries, for bananas. I'm
serious.
serious.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. Raise here.
Brian's going to raise it up with another inferior holding. See, and this is a time where you've got to look at your table image. I don't mind raising it up if my table image is such like Garland's. But in the case that if my table image is like Brian's, what is the value of raising with every hand? They know you're raising with crap.
977 here.
Josh is open-ended.
We got a $75 bet.
Nice bet here by Josh. Betting the semi-bluff here.
Yeah, pot's paired, or the flop's paired, and no one has a piece of it.
Right.
And he's going to take it down. Boy, Josh has really played it tight all night, hasn't he?
Yeah, I like his game so far, I got to tell you. He's waiting for the hands. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about No Limit Hold'em. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
I let somebody bet for me.
I played last night, and I had a pretty good night.
He didn't get
And I think I might have
He
played...
didn't deal in.
Rarely do I talk about money, but I actually, I'll
Even
even say,
he's here,
last
he
night I'm
didn't
playing the
see
5-10 game. I ended up winning about $4,500.
Yeah.
He has to be in the game, and he has to...
Almost
play
all of it
If
in
not-
2 hands.
Say what?
Which just shows No Limit Hold'em, you don't have to play a lot of hands.
Oh, you know something else I wanted to mention? Just a really, really sad story about, because we talk a lot of football on the show, about Tony Dungy's son tonight, Dave.
Supposedly it was suicide.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that's,
is just...
wow.
And
Kind of puts things in perspective, huh?
I mean, that's the type of thing where, I mean,
I don't know the bet.
is he not going to coach the rest of the year? I mean, I would expect that he wouldn't coach the rest of the year.
He's on an indefinite leave of absence, and he might not.
Yeah,
Who
I mean, that
knows?
is insane. That he-
That certainly puts things in perspective here.
Well, Josh has got a 7 threes here. It was limped around.
Nobody has anything this time. Might you check it around and see if you can induce a bluff from Brian? He's
there
prone
you
to
go.
bluffing. And sure enough, he does.
That's 55.
He's going to bet 55. Well, how do you play it out of position now? Oh, and Al's going to call pocket sixes. Well, now do you raise with 2 people in there?
Yeah, I think you got to raise. There's a couple spades out there, 3-4 out there. It's too. He doesn't know what good shape he's in, actually. You know,
He's just going to call.
he's going to call. See, I mean,
I don't know how he's going to play the rest of the hand, though.
knowing what they have, it's not bad to slow play it.
And well, he's going to fill up. That's actually a great card for him.
Yeah,
It's going to get checked over to Brian.
man, Brian's got the 8 of spades, and does Brian take the free card? And he does.
Checked around. And the river is the ace of spades.
How you doing?
And do you check it one more time, or do you bet this? You're going to bet this. He's going to hope somebody's got, like, the jack or queen of spades.
Yeah.
Oh, you just came.
He's going to bet 150.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to call this.
One
Josh
here,
has got a
one
pretty
there.
tight image.
Well, now, if we move there...
I mean, that's.
we're gonna
I'm
change
not
one
saying
on
that.
1,000
Wow.
on one.
And Brian's going to. Is he going to pay him off? He pays
Wow.
him off.
That-
Wow.
that's
Unbelievable.
That's bad.
The 8 of spades.
That's just bad poker.
And what happens if Brian had the queen of spades there? You'd think he might raise all in the way he's playing tonight.
Yeah, that's just bad poker.
Well, the interesting thing there, too, is that obviously, from what we could see, there wasn't any reason to play it harder. But if Al spikes a 6 there on the river, all of Josh's money goes down, right?
I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, obviously, we saw what they had.
Right.
So smooth calling, the flop was okay.
Right.
But if I'm in his shoes, I'd rather raise it up a little bit, take control of the hand. You know, you don't want a 6. You don't want a
Yeah.
spade to flop. You know what I mean? The 4 of spades is actually the perfect card. You're hoping somebody has a flush draw.
Yeah.
Barrett, put your name on 1,002. 500 and 1,000.
Yeah, my wife actually, her parents obviously are both actors and actors, sorry. And she actually had homeschool for a while.
Really?
And traveled the world. I mean, she got homeschooled from she grew up pretty much in Australia and Italy and Thailand. And while she didn't get a conventional education, like you say, you or I did, but she was educated in so many other ways by seeing the world.
A cultural education.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's invaluable to see the world like that.
It gets checked over to Al, and he's going to bet here with the 6, and he's going to take it down. Well, I got to tell you, people out there in Generation X and Generation Y, you'll know this term. I was this close, Dave, to going on a semester at sea, which is really cultural. You go. I mean, I guess I'm
Well, you
outdating everybody here in the booth.
No,
Everybody's
I
laughing.
know. You did a semester I know you did a semester abroad.
I did. Semester at sea is basically where you go on a boat, you travel around the world, you get drunk every day, and you get college credit for it.
That's great.
It's it was one of the Road Rules episodes.
Semester at sea. That's kind of cool. Basically, you have meaningless sex all the time. You get drunk, and you get college credit for it.
You go into different cities all
Right.
around the country.
Isn't that what college is all about anyway?
Right. Limped around here. Four-way action. It's a $40 pot. 8-7-6. Philly's got Al's got 7-9, and C4's got 5-8. Top pair open end. He's gonna bet 50. That's Dion.
Yeah, it's a nice bet by Dion here.
See how Al's gonna play this one. He's open-ended on the top end with second pair. He calls.
Heads up.
Surprised Al's not. See if Al raises that, he takes the pot down right there and then.
Turns at 10, and Al's got the straight.
See, now Al's not going to make any money on it anyway. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. I'm imagining it's a small little bet here.
That's 75.
You bet 75.
Throwing a little raise here if you're Al.
Looks like it.
A couple of ways to play this hand, but if you...
Makes it 325, and Dion is...
A couple of ways to play that hand, obviously, but if a spade comes out,
Quickly
you
out
could
of
be
it.
killed.
Rabbit Cam would have showed a 4, so actually Dion would have made a straight on the bottom end.
Wow.
I don't know.
Not sure
how
they're
much
going to lost any money, though, yeah.
Nice Ronald.
And the button's going to move over here to Mo in seat 1.
It's always interesting, though. You look at, like, the Indianapolis Colts and Tony Dungy, and you're talking about, you know, they just lost their undefeated season, and they're trying to win the Super Bowl, and I can't believe they lost their undefeated season. Oh, my God. And then you see that his son just committed suicide, and you go, everything's just kind of is put into perspective there. And I do hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday this year. And try to keep things in perspective yourself.
Got a $120 raise here by Mo.
It's kind of a valuable lesson, keeping things in perspective. I wrote about it in my blog in terms of sometimes people think the world is coming to an end when they get a bad beat.
Right.
And you got to keep things, obviously, that way. I almost forgot Mo was even playing.
Well, Brian's got ace rag here. He doesn't have any money. Shows the ace, and he's going to fold.
Yeah, that's not good.
We had a post here by Kev Knapp, who usually starts the thread on 2+2. Although I think that he said that he won't be doing it again until mid-April when we come back through the year. So maybe someone else will take over that duty. Hey, you can PM me on 2+2 with your resumes.
There you go. That'd be great.
Post starters, thread starters. But he says, anyway, Bart, can you let us know what games are featured on the LA Poker Scenes, the 10 episodes that we'll show next week?
Oh, it's the best of the best.
Well, I asked my producer, and hopefully that will be up on the website at some point over the weekend or by Monday.
Obviously, you can keep in mind that we obviously pick some of the best shows for the LA Poker Scene.
Right.
Because it's obviously...
And then the best of the best.
And that's the best of the best, exactly.
Pot is limped around here.
5 players.
5 players here. Pot's $50. They'll flop.
Couple king jacks out there. 9-7-6 with 2 diamonds. Gore's got 9-10. He's going to bet seat 5.
Yeah, and interesting how Brian actually has an open-ended straight draw with bottom pair.
$35 bet here by Gore.
And,
Little under the size of the pot. Brian's going to call. Barry's out of there.
would've
Garvin's
been,
out
I
of
think
there.
it's a nice spot for a little range there from Brian, but he decides to smooth call. I mean, think about it. It's a one-liner to straight now. You really think Gore's going to lose any money?
Well, Gore's got top 2 pair now. Brian's got a straight.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Let's see what happens here. I mean, Gore's not an idiot. He's not going to lose that much on this hand.
Gore bets 50.
I mean, let's be honest. When Brian raises this, which he's going to do right now,
It's going to make it 150.
right? I mean, Gore's got to look at it and go, what could he possibly have?
Some people get sometimes frustrated with 2 pair. It's pretty obvious straight here to the board.
And now it is Brian, and he's been prone to bluffing, obviously. He's done it all night.
It's 100 more here.
I almost would have rather Brian move all in there, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? Move all in. Make it look like a bluff. At least make it look like it did like before. You know, when he's bluffing, he moves all in. When he has a real hand, he only bets 100.
Right.
You know, I mean...
That's how you pick up on those betting patterns.
Right. You know, if you're going to... I mean, if you're going to over-bet it when you're bluffing, well, over-bet it when you got it, too.
Right.
So you get paid off.
No, you have a draw. I have a redraw.
Gore is
And once again, Brian wins very little when he wins a hand and loses a lot when he loses a hand.
Right. And if people are interested in payola, we are not necessarily regulated by the FCC, so I could get my address out and they could send gifts, other types of goods that
Yeah,
might get me to say, okay, you can start the thread.
Yeah, no, I mean, and to be honest with you, it is Christmas time, and if you or and Hanukkah time, if you feel like sending gifts, you can send them to Bart and Dave
Right.
at the Bicycle Casino. We're in Bell Gardens, 7301 Eastern Avenue.
Yep. Pocket Kings here for Mo in seat 1.
We do kind of work in kind of like a prison environment. Our producer, Warden, We'll look at everything first, obviously.
$80.
Raise, make it 80.
And Mo is going to raise it up to $80.
And Mo has played like what? 6 hands
He's
all
played
night.
it so ABC tonight.
But he wins money again.
Well, Barry's got a suited connector.
Get him, Barry.
I mean, is it more important? It's like the NBA. You know, is it more important to win a game, or is it more important to look good doing it?
Well, I guess apparently in the NBA it's more important to look good doing it.
Well, I don't know. Basically, I guess the question is, would you rather be Allen Iverson or Tim
Right.
Duncan?
Right.
You know?
You want to
No, he's in the house.
Three-way action here.
run the whole
Spots about
thing?
$150.
Ace queen suited.
And Mo's got a set of kings. And he actually likes to slow play, Dave, sometimes, his monster hands. There's two hearts
No more
out
than
there.
150.
Yeah, but he raised the pre-flop.
You
He's
got to
gotta-
think he's going to bet.
Yeah.
Okay, you want
He's going to
And
bet a weak bet. He bets 80.
Yeah, the amazing thing is, there are some people that I might call with a suited connector, or in this way, Al had a suited gapper, one gapper, to try to win a lot of money. I'm not looking to really play a lot of pots versus Mo.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to kiss his ass, but at the same time, you can pick and choose who you want to play against in these games.
Well, I can't imagine that Al would call here. He's just looking at the bet. And, my God, is Mo going to reel Al in here with a weak bet, and Al's going to make a move on him?
Well, Al's thinking about it, but the more he thinks about it, the more obvious it is that he's bluffing. Right? Yeah.
And Gore calls his hand Pocket Kings.
I mean, I'll tell you, I watched my show. I watched the show I played last week on Wednesday's show, and there was a hand where I bluffed Avo. And by the end of it, it was so obvious, and I was so disgusted by my play in that one hand because I watched the hand, and the longer I took, the more I was just screaming. I might as well have, like, written on my forehead, I'm bluffing.
Well, we're going to take a look at another chip count here.
Barry there in the lead still, up about over $4,500 for the night, up to $9,500. George, big win there when he spiked that deuce of spades up to $5,200. Mo, slowly creeping up to almost $5,000. Josh having a pretty good night, up to $3,200. Brian, look at Brian, down to $800. I mean, I think, what is Brian down to? 5,000, 6,000?
Yeah, 5-10 game. And it's not like he's had like a bunch of bad beats, Dave. It's just little bits of crap
he's
that's
just
gone on throughout the night.
He's basically bluffed off $4,000.
Right. Ace-3 against Ace-4 suited here.
Oh, damn, it's on there.
Gore had raised here with a suited ace, and Barry called with Ace-3, and the flop goes check. Turns to 9.
Well, it's getting uglier and uglier for their hands. And they're going to chop it up unless they
Well,
bet.
Barry's going to bet now.
Bet 75.
I think Gore's scared of Barry.
Well, that's the image he wants. I mean,
Right.
Gore probably thinks that Barry is full of shit. The problem is, though, Gore's scared to bluff him.
I know he's got nothing, man.
Yeah, see, hear him. I know you got nothing, but I can't bluff you out.
Right.
Let's show you nuts.
I swear to
And
God.
he showed it. He showed the Ace-3 offsuit.
I swear. I mean, we know these players like the back of our hands.
Right.
I mean, Gore he read it. He goes, "You have nothing, but I can't bluff you out."
Okay, that's a given, okay?
Brian moves over here to Brian, seat
Calls.
6.
This is a 300 on the turn. He calls. You bet 400 on the river. He calls. He says, stay high.
When have I ever done that?
We're having fun here at Live at the Bike.
Come on, just
You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. But obviously, this is our last show for 05, so our next show will not be till January 2nd.
We should have Donna.
2006.
We should have Donna on the floor go out there and just yell pocket 7s against Ace-4 and take a look at their expressions. 4 and Barry. We had it raised here by seat 4 with Ace-Queen. And
Flop comes ace 3-4.
he's going to take it down there without a flop.
Then we get to see the outplay.
About a half an hour left in
I mean,
the
to
show.
be honest with you, Barry's the type of player, there are certain players that you think you can bluff out. Like a guy like Garland, I don't mind playing in a hand versus him because I don't necessarily think I need to hit my hand to make money off Garland.
Right.
I think I can get him off the hand. Against Barry, though, I want to hit my hand and then bet it for value.
Yep. Well, here's an idea. David Stanfield, he says, "Hey, Bart, why not get a copy of the time you were on Hollywood Squares and replay that one night during the new year?"
Yeah, that'd be, you know, we should have like little clips of me and you on various shows.
Various shows, yeah.
You can get me on like Saved by the Bell.
Beverly Hills 90210, right?
my little Saved by the Bell clip and so forth, and get you on Hollywood Squares.
I had a stint on a couple soap operas too. You know, you had stints on Passion, skating around right on the ice. We get a raise here by Brian, and Mo's going to call him with King Queen. Brian raised it up with 8-10 of spades. Mo is in the blind. Brian's got position. And look at this, Mo's flop trip queens. Brian's got a gut shot to the 9. Mo's going to come out and bet.
Bet 50.
Usually he doesn't do this.
Oh, so fast.
He bets 50, and Brian calls.
So fast.
Turns to 6, and Brian's got a spade draw. Will Brian make a move with this draw now? Mo checks.
Well, you know what, Mo, I like the way Mo played it. Mo bet it like he had a jack, right? And now he's checked it like he's scared of the queen, maybe.
And Brian's bet 100 now. Let's see how Mo plays it. The pot is about 300. It's 100 to call.
And I think Mo's going to check raise this.
Yeah, he is.
Just in case Brian has a draw. And Brian does have a draw.
He's got a pretty big draw. He's got a gut shot in spades.
Now, he needs a 9 or a spade. But if the king of spades were to come, it wouldn't be good, obviously.
And let's see how much more Mo's going to make it here.
The king of spades or the jack of spades, I'm sorry.
Is it only 200 more? 300 more. And Brian calls.
Wow, and this pot is now, what, $1,000?
Yeah. The river's a 9, and Brian makes his gut shot.
Well, you know what? If you play enough crap, once in a while they'll stick.
And did Brian check it down? Brian checked it down on the river. Wow.
Are you kidding?
He checked it down.
No, he did not.
We're watching the same show here.
Really?
That's amazing.
They
He
didn't
would've-
verbally say I'm all in? And Mo verbally said I call?
No. No. Unbelievable.
So what does that tell you about Brian's play? Now, if you're playing against a guy like Brian, look at that. He made the straight, but it wasn't the nuts, right? Because there
Right.
obviously could have been a full house out there. And Brian just checks it. But
Right.
if Brian needed to bet to win the hand, he probably would have moved all in. You know what I mean? Start picking up little
And
habits
again,
of that.
of course, Brian could have moved all in, and like you said, Mo would have called thinking that Brian was on a bluff.
Well, there were a couple of times there. The time where Brian had the straight versus Gore's top 2 pair, if he moves all in, Gore might think he's full of crap, and he might call him.
Right.
Raise, make it 40.
$40 raise here.
Is that a $40 raise from Philly Al on the button with 4 deuce?
Yep.
And he takes it down. Little positional bet there. Nice play by Philly. Takes it. Hey, we also have a great thing of when we had our poker party at my house.
Yeah. Other things that we could. We
Yeah.
could have a whole bunch of stuff planned that we could put on for the new year.
I actually
we also have
interviewed Isaac.
the year's anniversary of Live the Bike coming right around the corner. Maybe say in about a month or so. February, at the beginning of February. Back in the time when we had Denny Williams as the mainstay commentator on here, Dave.
He's still the best commentator we ever had.
Right. Baron Vangor Toth's favorite. And maybe we can get the B team in here for some cocktails, some parties. Scott Groves, Jana Zelkovic.
Yeah, I'm already thinking of some guest commentators I can get in here when you play that heads-up match with Mike. Talking about a heads-up match that Corporation Mike and Bart here have planned for the new year.
And I'll tell you a little about that after this hand. Ace, Queen, 10 here. Couple spades.
Yeah, Brian's got the best hand here with an ace.
Gore's open-ended. Turns a king and Gore makes it, but it's pretty obvious because he's got the jack only.
Yeah,
And he's going to bet 100.
if an 8 comes, it's a little less obvious. But
Right.
this is pretty easy hand to get away from.
It looks like he's going to take it down. Now that is that heads-up match is tentatively scheduled for the
Yeah.
Tuesday that we come back from Christmas on
So January 3rd.
January 3rd.
Wow, okay. Well, great.
As I look inquisitively at my producer. Maybe
that's
it's
super, so
tentatively
that'll be-
scheduled the week after that, but
So if we do it either January 3rd or January 10th,
right. Yeah.
maybe Shirley and I will do the commentary. Maybe we can even bring in some guest commentators to critique your play.
Oh, great.
I know they've been licking their chops, hoping to come in here.
Well, George called me the Al Michaels of poker today out on the floor, remember?
Wow. Well, Michaels, he has some. They've been shuffling in people to work with him. I guess he's tough to work with.
Oh, is that what it is?
I don't know. I mean, look how many people are going in the Monday night.
Yeah, but none of his color commentators are any good, though, until
No.
now he got John Madden. I mean, I'm a huge
That was a
fan.
joke when they brought in like Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller.
That was a joke.
ridiculous.
You bring in a color commentator
Right.
who's a comedian and not a football expert. It's like, what's the point of that?
Gore's going to raise here to 45. Well, they still had, what's his name, with them, right? Didn't they? Not Deerdorf, the other guy. Gifford.
Yes. Dion calls here with pocket sevens here.
Frank Gifford. Good old Frank Gifford.
See what happens here.
Ace Jack against pocket sevens. And there's a set of sevens there for Dion. He checks it. Gore bets 100. Well, this Dion's taking a little bit more time now, Dave, than he did before when he immediately called Brian 100.
Well, he didn't have the exact absolute nuts.
Turn
Trying to think how he wants to play it here. He's out of position, though. It's tough now. He's going to check it probably, and I'm assuming Gore's going to check behind him.
No, Gore looks like he's going to bet again. And Gore is drawing dead.
250.
He's drawing dead.
Yeah.
He's going to bet 250.
I'm assuming a check raise is coming in here right here.
Pot's about $550. 250 to call.
Raise.
Raise.
And once again, I tried to point this out last time. When somebody announces raise, it's a little bit of a tell. Generally, it's a big hand.
500 on top.
It says 500 on top here for Dion.
And Gore can beat nothing. Is Gore thinking of making a move over him? No, he's going to throw it away.
Well, they're not that deep, Dave, either. I mean, remember now the pot's about $1,000. They each only have about 1,000 left in front of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a restricted game, but usually these games with semi-small blind structures, 5-10 isn't a giant game. If you're not, say, at least 300 or 400 times the big blind, you're not going to be able to have the movement to raise and re-raise and then re-raise, say 3 or 4 times within one hand, right?
Clearly not.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the bunny.
It's a little bunny.
Don't mess with the bunny, and that's Garland's bunny.
Yeah. Pocket queens this time for Mo. Oh, he's just going to sit around for premium hands here, Dave. Sure, he's going to raise it up.
Raise.
But he does mix it up a little bit. We saw him earlier steal with 3-2 on the button.
Well, yeah.
80 more.
You know what I mean? Just to stay kind of afloat, so he doesn't lose too much on blinds. Remember, you're only going to lose $15 in blinds every round.
He makes it 80 to go.
The amazing thing is he doesn't play that many hands, and he still gets called.
Right.
I mean, last time when he had kings, he got called in 2 spots.
80.
Barry's got Jack 8 offsuit.
Show me one card, Ron.
Okay, if you had heads up, I show you.
Well, Barry's going to call.
That's it.
And the question is, if Barry hits a Jack here, what's going to happen, Dave? Here we go. Well, King 9-7, couple clubs.
He's got a straight shot. He's got a gut shot.
Show me
There
a
are-
card and then bet.
Okay.
He needs a
You
10,
ask me
right?
which one I show you.
Clear 150.
Mo says, which one do I show you?
One on the right.
This one?
Yeah, my right, yeah.
No. If I show you that one, you know what's going on.
Hey, hand it to Brian. Brian's getting his butt kicked tonight, but he's still smiling.
Well, you know what? You can show him one card.
Okay, I'll show you one card. No, that was a little way, but
See? Come on, man.
You got someplace to go?
I just want to play poker, man.
Oh, Gore's giving a little edge there to Barry. Come on, Barry.
I'd hurry it up.
Do you think Gore and Barry, do you think they're on the each other's Christmas list?
Thank you, buddy.
I'm the best losing player you've ever seen.
Well, Gore used to mix it up before, too, and now he's kind of settled down a lot as well.
He realized that mixing it up is, it's one of those things. Like I said, you look good,
Right.
It's kind of cool, but it's not really winning poker.
Right.
Oh, so that one doesn't count?
That one did not count. Well, we only had like.
And I don't know about you, but I'd rather win than look good.
Tom Brady, my Tom Brady against the Colts losing Peyton Manning.
I don't know. I think that's a different example. I would compare it more like Tom Brady versus Michael Vick. You know?
20.
I would compare it more to Tom Brady than Mike Vick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a raise.
Or like I said, Tim Duncan to Allen Iverson.
Right.
80.
Oh, there we are. Jeez.
Oh, hi, Casey. Pocket Kings here.
Look at Isaac. The power catches us unaware. This I wasn't picking my nose or my ass. Kings again. I mean, I swear everybody's gotten kings once at least.
Yep.
Going around. Maybe the cards are kind of sticky and they're sticking together. I don't know.
Yep.
Get a raise from Gore, a re-raise from Brian,
Yep.
and Brian's moving all in now.
Wow. This is amazing. So a raise and a re-raise, and Brian's going to move all in. Well,
Yeah, and the pot is, I want to say, maybe $300. $300, and maybe it's another, say, $1,200 to call.
yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry, the pot's $1,500, $1,200 to call, and I don't think anybody can call this. Yeah, and Brian takes it down.
Nice. Well taken.
There it is. And Gore's just getting slapped around like a little girl out there. In
He's not
C5.
having a very good night, is he?
Yeah.
We haven't seen him win many big pots at all.
Russ McGinley, 2+2, he says, Gore is paralyzed against Barry, and it's true.
That's the attitude I like. Now, if Eddie could just
Well, and that's sometimes there is some value to making calls like that.
Yeah.
You know. You know, pretty much if Gore is going to bet versus Barry, Barry knows that Gore's got it.
Right.
Ace Queen here for Brian this time. He's got Ace Queen of clubs in the big blind.
That check on the river could have been one of the worst plays we've seen here in a long time. The posts are starting to come in here, Dave. You know?
I just don't understand. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to call scared of the full house, don't, you know what I mean? Either don't make the call or bet it because you need some implied odds to make that call correct.
Wow, ace 8-3 here. Both players have hit top pair, and I think George raised and Brian just called in the
Yeah.
blind.
The problem is it's all diamonds here. I think it's going
And
to
it
kill
goes
the
check,
action.
check. Turns to 3. And now, you know, maybe George still thinks he might have the best hand because maybe he's induced this bluff. But Brian doesn't bet. Now George is going to bet.
175.
He's going to bet 175.
And I imagine a raise is coming in here, no?
Two players.
No, it just calls. Wow.
Here we go to the river. River's a queen, and Brian's got top 2
Go.
pair now. And they just check it down.
So the reoccurring theme of this basically, if Brian ever bets, he's bluffing. Right?
It's just,
I mean, if Brian bets big, he's bluffing. If he checks it down, that's when you got to be worried.
right. Betting patterns, huh?
Betting patterns, I mean, to me, No Limit Hold'em is all about reading players and betting patterns. And if you can, you're betting the right amount at certain spots. Betting patterns, it's like a book. If you can read the betting patterns, you can read the book. You know exactly what your opponent has on it.
Right. Mo limped in here with a king-queen offsuit mid-position.
75.
Dion
75.
is going to raise it up to 75 with king. Excuse me, Dion limped.
You know, especially
Wait
with
a
Brian's image. Brian's been bluffing all night. How do you not bet for value there?
Okay, Dion raised here with king-jack to 75. Gore called, 5-6 offsuit.
really get mad if I played that.
Barry's got ace-rag suited and said, surely we get mad if I play that. Look at Mo quickly muck king-queen offsuit. We got three-way action.
Who was the original raiser?
Dion with king-jack. And the flop comes queen 10-6. Dion's open-ended. Al's got a flush draw and a pair.
Yeah.
And boy, if Mo was involved with this, the flop could have got really big.
Yeah, he had king queen.
Yeah. Al's going to come out and bet.
And that's a better flop than a king if you have king queen.
175.
He's going to bet 175 into a $225 pot. The pot is now $350.
And what is Dion going to do here?
175 to call.
Looks like he's just going to call. He's shaking, though. What are those shakers?
Pot's now 525. And we're heads up. Turns to 3. And look at this. Al's got 2 pair in the flush draw now.
Yeah, and Dion is actually drawing really slim here. Dion needs an ace or a 9 that is not a heart.
Right. And Al's going to come out and fire again.
Oh, that's a big bet.
1200.
He's going to bet 1,200, and
Man, what is he scared of?
Dion folds. Well, he said he was shaking. Maybe he was slow playing a set, but if you got a set, you're beat, right?
Yeah, I mean, he bets so much that he's only going to get called by a hand that's beating him.
Right.
And you've got 2 pair with a flush draw. What was the pot?
Blinds was small.
It was $525 there.
And he bet 1,200 into
Yeah.
it.
And again, we have 5 weekly free rolls, Dave, on our Play for Free site. Something to do if you're bored with your family over Christmas. $100 free rolls, 5 times a week. Just go to thebike.com's Play for Free site at thebike.com. And then when we get back, again, we've got a lot of interesting things happening. We'll have, big multi-table free rolls that are open to everyone. Hopefully we'll get hundreds of people as opposed to just the one with a promotional buck in it.
And we're going to do all sorts of things where, the winner of a tournament might play you heads up or play me
Right.
heads up and so forth. It'll be a lot of fun. Try to keep this show as interactive as possible. Keep it fun. Keep it
4-way
real.
action here. We had a raise by seat 9, Josh.
Wow.
And he's hit his ace and he did not bet. And now Mo's going to bet with ace-4 thinking he's got the best hand.
Now, I think he's going to play the player, though. This is interesting. When Josh raises him or calls him, I think Mo might be done with it.
It's really strange to see Josh raise and then not bet that flop.
It's not a bad I mean, he's got the queen of diamonds, too, just in case.
Oh, Al can get away from this, can he?
That's a tough laydown here, Bart. I mean, you underestimate it. Really, really tough.
Well, if Al calls here, what is Josh going to do? Then you think you have to raise and see where you're at?
Oh, man. I mean, Al's got the 10 of diamonds, too. I mean, that's a tough laydown. Oh, are you kidding me? Come on, stop wasting our time.
Mo bet 125.
And is Philly Al going to make a move?
No. Now, let's see what Josh is going to do here.
I imagine he's going to check raise this. Barry might have told him, listen,
Yeah, it
if you're
says
going to
raise.
avoid anybody,
Yeah.
avoid Mo. But he's got a pretty big hand here.
I
Ace
think
queen.
Mo is quickly done with the hand.
Yeah, and that's the difference between, you see Mo, he's obviously an experienced professional poker player.
Right.
He loses the minimum with ace-4. He takes one shot at the pot, gets check raised by a pretty tight player. He's paying attention to the way Josh is playing.
Well, and the funniest thing about
Doesn't get involved.
people at the table might not know what Mo had that hand. They might think that he was just on a total bluff. He wasn't. He was betting top pair when it got checked to him.
Yeah, exactly. But Mo is paying attention to the player that Josh is. If Brian makes that move, Mo might even play back at him. Who
Right.
knows?
Button moves over here to seat 7.
And it's funny, sometimes you see players sitting down at the table. I remember we saw that famous Cloney Goen episode where Cloney Goen is sitting there reading a book.
Daniel Steele, I believe.
And I got to tell you, I mean, to me, no real poker player, and I don't want to say she's not a real poker player, but whatever. I guess I am saying that.
Uh-oh, I hope Shirley's not listening
I just
to
don't
this.
understand. But to me, though, any real poker player, and I think Shirley would agree with me on this, doesn't play No Limit Hold'em and read a book.
Yeah.
It's not that mechanical of a game. You got to be paying attention to your opponents.
Maybe limit Hold'em, right? But
Maybe limit Hold'em once in a while.
right.
Once
you
in
know
a
all
while.
the players.
Yeah, well, once in a while, if I'm up a couple $1,000 and I just want to kind of coast through my last 30 minutes of my shift, I'll read a book and just keep folding unless I have aces.
4-way action here. Razor's in seat 2 here. Garland with pocket 10s. He made it 30 to go. Got called in a few spots. And George, it's going to get checked to George and he bets. I don't know, again, you make a case for it. Would you call Garland's raise with Queen Jack? If he's so tight, you just feel you can just play him off of any hand.
Well, that's the thing. If you have position on Garland, you don't mind it, because if Garland misses, even if you miss, you might be able to bet him off the hand.
Now, was Brian not in the hand, or he just immediately folded there with Queen Jack? He got away from the Queen Jack right away.
Well, I guess it's George betting. I guess he doesn't want to
Yeah.
get involved. But let's be honest. If George has Ace King here, right?
Well, Barry's got...
Can't you get Garland off the hands?
Here's another clear-cut example here. I mean, if Barry's going to chase here for a gut shot. It's George betting. You're not going to get paid off. If the 7 of diamonds comes, you don't know where you're at.
Yeah, but if the 7 of spades comes out, he might win a lot of money. Who knows? I'm just throwing it at you.
The 9 comes out here. I mean, George with Queen Jack. Are you kidding me? George might shut down right now.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Obviously, but Barry doesn't know what George has. George could have a set of 4s.
Well, he's going to bet again.
You know what I mean?
He's going to bet 500.
Well, that should take it down. I mean, Barry's not going to call $500. Barry rarely makes moves. when he's not the aggressor.
Right.
Sometimes if he raises pre-flop, he'll
Right.
follow through with that. But rarely do we see him make a move in a case like this. And
Yeah.
true to form, he throws it away.
Nice bluff, George.
Looks like Dion's having a brew over there, Dave. A Heineken? Heine?
Diamond throw is
Good old Heine. It's a decent beer.
Decent. Not my favorite.
No, it's a decent beer. Like if you've got to get by with something, it's decent. It's not a Stella.
Pilsner or Kel.
That's all I got.
What was that kicking, Joe?
To be honest, I don't even think it's as good as Labatt's.
Canadian beer, huh?
I like Labatt's. I've always liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Big blind Mo, okay?
How about Molson?
It's okay. I mean, like I said, it's better than Budweiser. Better than Coors.
I am a fan of Miller Lite, though, for that light blue.
Yeah, I know you do like that. If I got to go light, I'm going Amstel. Personally, that's just my
How about
preference.
Sam Adams Light? Limped around here.
Yeah. I don't really drink light, to be honest with you.
Four-way action. You're a heavy man, huh?
Do I look like I need a light beer? Come on, I weigh like 160 pounds soaking wet.
25.
$25 bet here. I think it was by Gore, middle pair. Al's open-ended. Seat 9 calls. Josh with bottom pair. Look at this. Seat 9 calls. He makes 2 pair, but Al's got the straight.
Yeah, now let's see if Josh is a pretty solid type player, but
100.
let's see if he started to put his opponents on hands. That's the next step of becoming a better poker player.
Yeah, he's going to bet 100 here. And again, if you're... wow, and Al just calls. Wow. Just calls, and the river's a king.
Third spade.
Yeah. But Josh is going to bet again. He bets 175. The problem here for Josh, Dave, if you're going to call with the pair, you got to think, and Al's going to raise it up here. He's going to mini raise. He's going to make it 200 more to go.
And you know what? The king of spades might have killed his action.
Yep.
If he does that on the turn, he probably gets called.
Right.
And he might even get another $100, $200 out of him on the river.
Right.
But once again, we see people make their hands and not extract the most they can.
It's really tough. Wow, he's going to make the call. I was going to say it's really tough for 10-4 to beat anything here unless Al's on a pure bluff.
Yeah.
He's not going to raise back with one pair, right? There's no way.
No, I don't think
And,
so.
and 10-4 is pretty much...
Well, and you got to think the king helped him. You got to go, wait a second, did the king help me? Did he have king 9?
Well, the other thing, too, there is that if you're going to take off when you hit the flop with a single pair, you think, well, this pot's big enough where if I hit trips or I hit my 2 pair, I might win a big pot. Well, you got to make sure that your 2 pair kicker there, in this case a 10, doesn't make another form of a draw like it did there with that hand.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when you first start playing poker and you're playing, the first thing is okay, what hand selection, pre-flop hand selection, and then you start getting in more advanced in terms of reading players, in terms of bet size, and then when you start getting more advanced, you want to start putting your opponents on specific hands. I even think is a great exercise. You can be playing, and even if you're not in the pot,
60.
try to start putting your opponents on hands. What does this guy have? What is he betting with? What is he calling with?
50 more.
You'll see how much it helps your game. Because 6-8 there obviously is open-ended, and it's a distinct possibility when the board is 9-7-4.
Right.
4 players.
4-way action here is a $60 raise, and Josh has got pocket kings. I believe he raised it up pre-flop on the button.
That's not a good flop for him. Al's got the ace of spades.
All spades here, 9-10 deuce.
Gore's
Gore's got top 2 pair.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a coordinated board there. I mean,
What does Gore do with top 2 pair here?
Well, he doesn't have a spade in his hand. He's got to play it somewhat hard. The pot is already $240. I think a nice...
150.
Well, Dion's going to come out and bet here with top pair, no spade. 150.
I mean, I got to tell you, if I'm Gore here, $500 is going in.
He just calls. Wow. And if all these people call, what do you do with a couple offsuit kings in your hand? Al's going to call. Do you get involved?
I got to tell you, at this point here, you're looking at it going,
I can't believe that Gore didn't raise there. That's amazing to me.
that's a great laydown by Josh.
That's amazing that Gore didn't raise there.
Great laydown by Josh, I got to tell you. I mean, that's not an easy laydown.
Pot's about 700. The turn's a king.
Oh.
That's unbelievable.
You know what? Results, you can't look at results sometimes. That's a great laydown.
Gore's playing it slow. He's giving Al a free card. Al's got a straight and a flush draw now. And the river's a 9.
Oh my
Josh
God.
would have filled up, but Gore's made a full house. He would have had all of Gore's money.
Yeah, Josh would have. Oh my God, he's going to be sick when he sees this hand layout.
And Dion bets 200.
And I imagine this is a nice little value bet time here. Do you raise it up to like?
Yep. He's
What?
gonna raise. No, he's got.
He announced raise.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Going to raise.
You know, thank you.
7 more.
He's gonna make
Oh.
it 700 more. Oh wow, that's tough luck.
I got to tell you, well, Josh, I still like to lay down on the flop. I got to tell you.
First time. You won.
Wow.
Well, Dave, that was the last hand of the night.
And the last hand of 2005.
That's right. So, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Hey.
And everyone here in the booth, a Merry Christmas. And all you out there, a Merry Christmas. So tomorrow night, we're going to be running a rerun of the best of famous players.
Wow.
As produced and cut up by our producer.
Pretty cool.
Probably, maybe, some of those whale games and some other nights. Maybe we can get a Kathy Liebert in there or something like that. And then join us next week. We will be running on a loop 2 episodes of the LA Poker Scene, which is our television show that runs in the Poker Channel in England. 2 episodes a night. So
And that's like the best of the best. I mean,
best
it's
of the
great
best,
stuff.
and we're taking the best of the best.
Right.
So, for everyone here in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, have a happy, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.